Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However, you happen to be watching or listening to this, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Gaming Circle podcast. The podcast where this week we're starting a little late. I'll be honest with
A
you,
little late.
a little late, a little late.
Okay.
Well, it's okay. We started both a couple hours late and then a few minutes late. The hours, I'll let that one slide, but the minutes, that was totally Everborn Saga. By the way, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you guys coming through. It's a late show. We life happens, as it happens between work and family and startups and projects for Everborn Saga. We're all still here. So, every once in a while, we got to switch it up a little bit. But
Okay, let me tell them what happened. God damn it.
oh, you can tell them when you haven't
All right.
introduced you. I'm your host, Mr. TKO.
Okay. All right.
Everywhere. And I am joined by Mr. Everborn Developer Saga.
All right.
Evening, sir.
Here's what happened. Bunty, what's going on, man?
What's going on,
Listen,
man? What going on?
I don't know how to get a hold of you. Last week you said to reach out DM me on Twitter or something.
He's asking you to slide in his DMs, but that's neither here nor there. Continue, sir.
See? You see where you have to take it?
Hey, man, we are doing this show at night.
All right.
The PG-13 bets are off right now. I'm just saying.
This is GCP After Dark.
Oh, it'll have to be, bro. I mean, look, my sheep is cleaning poop on the screen right now.
Okay, so
I'm sorry, and this is for those of y'all who are not watching, who are listening. I am showing Cult of the Lamb. We'll talk about that coming out. Cult of the Lamb, very interesting game. He's cleaning poop. Continue, Everborn. Go ahead.
Yes. So I bought this for the Steam Deck, by the way.
You did? Good idea. Very good idea. We'll talk about it. Go ahead.
Anyway, besides the point. So my kid, my 12-year-old, is going back to school on Monday, and we were, I'm like, okay, we have to do, all this back to school shopping and all that jazz. So today was the day that was allocated to do that. And so I called you and I said, listen, I can't make it. I got family stuff. It is what it is.
Hey, life happens, brother.
But yesterday, the missus takes the 12-year-old out, and they were just supposed to get shoes because I didn't want to go with them to go do the whole shoe thing, and we would go do the clothes and it would all be fine. And I wake up this morning, and it turns out while getting the shoes, they just decided to go get everything themselves. So we actually could have gone live this morning at 10 a.m. But since we had already announced it, I said, well, I'm going to take advantage of this time. And now here we are.
Oh, man. See, man, where is he? Where is, darn it? He was on Twitter.
Slow-mo.
No, not slow-mo. He was on Twitter putting videos out there like, yo, what happened to the Gaming Circle podcast?
Oh, Jerry Mack. Yes, I saw
Where's
that.
Jerry Mack? He needs to hear.
And the reason we're 5 minutes late is because of this, which I shouldn't be drinking.
It's because of CBT. Like it's okay. I get you.
No,
CBT.
Hold on. I'm in Westchester, so it's semi-rural, but we happen to literally have a gas station across the street. And so I said, we watched She-Hulk we can talk about that. We kind of get into other realms. It is nighttime. We can talk about. Go ahead. Yes. Yeah,
you finished She-Hulk.
I had already seen She-Hulk, but I'm like, okay, my girls are gonna want to watch this, and the missus is gonna want to watch it. So we watched She-Hulk, and we started that at like 7:10.
Okay,
but it's like a half-hour show, so we're good.
Yeah.
So then there's after credit scenes that you have to watch. And then I'm like, okay, I'm tired. I was running around all day. Let me just go grab a Red Bull across the street instead of making a coffee at home. And that ended up being another whole
with 5 minutes left before the show
But it's
starts.
Across the street. I don't mean, see, you're in Florida. You don't know what across the street means.
No, across the street means with a car.
Exactly. No, literally, I went in my slippers and just
okay. You know what? Let me be honest with you. Right? In all fairness, I'm a little bit hurt right now because I wanted to start the show with him not on this air so I could berate him, but he showed up right on time, damn it. Right on time. Anyway.
Oh, I see we got Ron in the chat.
Yeah, man.
We got to have you on the show one day, sir.
Yeah, I have been wanting to have that conversation with you, by the way, Everborn. Have some of the more community members come on. You know, we've had Pixel Bit. Shout out to Pixel Bit, who I see in the chat. We've had him on a couple times. Let's get more community members on.
Pixel Bit doesn't even need an invite. He just
he's
a link.
He's in here when he wants to be.
I try to save him for the Halo talk because there's a lot of Halo slander, and then he puts the people in their place. So
indeed, you know what? We have a lot to discuss. Let us quickly, because I suspected it will be a quick conversation. Talk about games we've been playing, and we'll start with you first, sir.
Okay, so I'm slowly but surely working my way through As Dusk Falls.
Fine wine and all that.
Yeah, I'm on chapter 3 of book 2 right now, or chapter 4 of book 2, but I think it's chapter 3.
Okay.
And for those,
how you liking it?
So we met up at the cabin, and you find out what you find out about people's lineage and betrayals and all those things. So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
And I've been trying to play it as a paragon, basically. But I want to go back, and this is not a term in the game. I just consider everything paragon or rogue when you have
it's basically the Mass Effect established narrative. Yes.
Yes. So I've been playing As Dusk Falls as a paragon.
Yeah.
But
you can play it on your phone, right? You can play it literally on your phone with just decisions and stuff, right?
Yeah. I heard that. I have not tried it. I've been playing it. So this is the other thing that everybody knows. Since I got the Steam Deck, it's literally, I haven't turned on the Xbox.
But he still plays Xbox all the time with it.
xCloud all day. I
going on big mad Mo.
Hold on. So I am playing through the game, making decisions that I would not make. Right? There's a lot of people where I would have chose to either give them up or shoot them or let them fall from trees. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess.
But I'm not doing. Oh, and
you're trying to be good. You're trying to be a good boy.
And the same thing with the decision about, like, hold on. Did you trust?
No
your
spoiler
wife
talk
in that situation.
Me?
Did you just
me personally? Hell no. But me in the game, I trusted my wife.
Exactly. That's my point. I'm not making decisions as though any of these.
Yeah.
Because I've learned this about myself. I'm a terrible person because I know what the right decision is, and that's how I'm playing it. But me in my personal life, no chance.
But
bodies. I would have not trusted people. My marriage would have been broke up.
It would have been broke up a long time ago. But to be fair, and this is not a spoiler what I'm about to say here, because it changes depending on what equation, where you are in the game and what you're playing. A lot of decisions change everything. But in many ways, I have found that even if you made a different choice, it's not that the outcome would have been the same, but it would have revealed something about you rather than revealing something different about the story. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was an instance, and this is not spoilers, there was an instance where there was a choice I had to make. And at that time, I think for some reason, and this game is really good about saves. Like, As Dusk Falls is really, really good about making sure you keep your decisions. If you mess up, you're stuck with it. It is what it is. But for some reason, this was some months ago, like right when the game had first launched. For some reason, I was playing it on PC and it crashed on me. Like, I think it was my PC that was having some issue or whatever. So I made a choice, and I won't tell you what choice I made or where I was. I made a choice, and then I saw where it got me. Right, it was getting me there, and then in the middle of the game, it crashed.
Your Steam Deck out the window. And
it wasn't Steam Deck. Remember, I didn't even have a Steam Deck at the time. It wasn't Steam Deck. This was a while back.
The point is, whatever device you were on, you broke it.
No. It crashed, and then when I went back to the game, I lost like 20 minutes of my save. So I got a chance to make that decision again, only this time I made a different choice, the opposite choice. And still, at least in that decision where I made the opposite choice right away, it still played out the way it played out. but it was kind of like, oh, I see you, man. You were gonna do this. Oh yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like it's like they caught me. They caught me in it. You know what I'm saying? It's a very, very interesting game. Like even though people don't talk about it as much anymore, I really do hope that the attention that game garnered, like this kind of game happens more. It's more green light more.
I can't do the flip book comic book thing.
Well, like, but that's the thing is because it's look at the type of game you're asking to make, right? How many wallets would open easily for that kind of game, especially in a Telltale come and gone kind of world? You know what I'm saying? Like I can understand why people wouldn't want to give it.
I'm not saying it needs to be like, you know what I'm saying, Last of Us or whatever, but like,
but look at the voice acting. Look at the voice acting. Look at the story that was told. The story and the voice acting together. I have a feeling that the story and the voice acting together took up 80% of that budget, and then everything else was just like, yo, we just gotta find a vehicle of getting that story and that voice acting to the people.
I think they made a conscious decision to.
Well, yeah, no, I agree with you.
That they chose.
I agree with you that they made a conscious decision, but I think they made that conscious decision seeing the budget they were working with.
But because the thing about it is, you bring that script to Netflix, they're greenlighting it.
Oh yeah, it's a great story. Great story. Absolutely.
And because of that, I'm just saying, just like, can I get some level of 3D models? Like, just use the asset store in Unity. Like, that's it. That's all I'm asking.
Bro, not everyone can hide their I was going to say inadequacies. It's not an inadequacy, right? In many instances, devs are developing while they're learning, right? You're learning while you're developing. It's not like you learn the craft and then you develop your first game. They may very well not even. I'm sorry.
What is that? What's the name of that studio?
Interior Night or whatever. Like she was the art director. The studio head was the art director at Quantic Dream.
Okay.
You get it? So the style of game makes sense because it's the same style of game that she's used to making at Quantic Dream. Only the reason why I'm cutting her slack is because she was the art director. Like, I don't think that even though she's the art director and presumably, you know, has experience in 3D, she may not have come to the new studio with a full team of, you know, expert coders. You know, they're building up to it. You know,
I disagree. I think if she told them we need more budget to do 3D models, I think this is what exactly the vision they
could have done it. I'm sure they could have done it.
I just don't think they wanted to do it. But anyway, I say I don't want to take the whole. This is not like the gaming.
Yeah. I figure we should talk more about games, man. We should talk more about the games because what.
But
let's flip more about games.
Cult of Lamb and those things. But let me finish. Tell you what I'm
please. Yes.
So on top of playing As Dusk Falls, just one chapter at a time. I'm doing like one night, one chapter or whatever. I also picked up Cult of Lamb literally because of word of mouth. This was not on my radar. Did not know about it. Didn't care.
This has been on my radar for a long time. I play the demos. Let's talk about it. Have you played it yet?
I played it and I got I just did the basically opening scene where you die, you come back, you beat everybody, you get your first devotee.
So and yes, this is a night show. We kind of hodgepodge jumped into it. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Appreciate all y'all listening later, listening and or watching after the fact. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so. All y'all in the chat, I appreciate y'all for being here. Please, if you've played, give us your experiences. For the audio listeners and for those who don't know the game, Cult of Lamb, it is this weird. Go ahead.
Yes. Look at Gabe's comment. And shout out to Gabe. He's always here every week.
He's asking
because we got in late. That's how. And you say I don't have to get up in the morning. We can stay in bed. That's an easy W.
That's an like easy W for you right there. Indeed. So, real quick before we talk about your experiences with it, Cult of Lamb is basically 2D adventure game, right? It's a 2D adventure game, and I actually looked it up from the 2D? It's a 2D adventure game, yeah. It's a 2D adventure game. I looked it up from the developers because I found this game so super interesting that I wanted to really understand like what is this? Like who these guys are, where do they come from? What is all this, right? It is a roguelike management sim adventure game.
Even though you're hacking and
Roguelike,
slashing, you got to add hack and slash.
yeah, and hack and yeah, it's a roguelike, but that's the roguelike part because roguelikes are always the hacking and slashing. You know, you go into their different weapons. Roguelike management sim, okay? And let's explain briefly what we're talking about here. There are two kinds of creatures, well, many creatures in this world, but for whatever reason, and I'm about what 6, 7, 8 hours in. For whatever reason, the
like
lambs.
A half hour in.
Yeah, I'm about 8 hours in. The lambs, a lamb, obviously, the creature of a lamb is considered the bane of the existence or something. There's a prophecy that says that one day one of the lambs will come and overthrow something. Blah 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 blah. Needless to say, the game literally starts with the antagonists literally performing genocide of all lambs in this world. Okay, now
I thought it was just a sacrifice. I didn't notice it.
They killed them all. They killed them all of them.
That's like why you start the text. That's not like you don't.
No, that's the game. That's the visual. The very first thing you do is you're walking to your sacrifice. You're the last of them.
Okay, okay. No, I thought like you were saying they showed the lambs being slaughtered. No, you're the last
like
one.
They spoke. Did
I miss the beginning?
The evil dude speaks to it. He speaks to it. Yes. Oh, this way, because of this, the prophecy will never come to pass. A lamb was going to come and be a problem, and now he killed all the lambs. Basically, weirdly enough, all of this dark, crazy-ish, all wrapped around. If you're watching the video, beautiful, cute art style. I mean, the cutest, goofiest, beautiful music, very, very, very atmospheric, if you will. Even everything screams style. And believe it or not, and now I know why, because I actually did a little bit of research on them. There are three developers, three main developers. Obviously, they contracted out as they needed to, but they come from various disciplines and various studios. And they've come together to form this. Three guys that did this whole situation, and one's the art director, one's the design director, does all the coding. And basically they put this. Three guys did this. This is their first. Well, this is their second console game that they made for Xbox, PlayStation, everything. And man, the systems on display. Everborn, please. What have you interfaced with so far, and where because there's more. There's always more. That's the thing.
No. But that's the thing. I just did the opening thing when I came back to life. Went through the little first maze. You meet the guy. He tells you to meet me here. Yeah. And then you save someone from being sacrificed, and then they're there and they're working for you, and you change their appearance.
That's literally fun speculation.
I've done so far. But I do want to know, this is not a 2D game. Right, they're using a 2D art style, but it's a 3D game.
It's a 3D game, yes.
But sorry, I'm just using Unity too much. I don't listen to me.
You're using your technical brain. Good job. Yes, it is a 3D game. Yes,
but it is late, so not too much of the technical brain.
It's a 3D game, but using 2D assets to represent it. But it's indeed a 2D game. Yes, on a 3D plane, 2D assets being shown. Anyways. So yes,
so interesting. I like the mechanics at play so far, but again, you're talking to someone who has basically only played with what is basically the opening tutorial, right? So I need to get into it more. It has not, because I don't think it feels as good yet as Death's Door in terms of combat, but it's not trying to do the same thing.
This is not that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But and I'll tell you, it's not a spoiler. It'll never feel as good as that.
Right. But I'm saying I need to get that out of my head because it's doing a completely different thing.
Yeah. But what you should know though, playing a little further than you have, and I haven't played it to its fruition, so I'm still learning. But what you should know is it will grab you like Death's Door, but for a different reason. You just gotta let it.
Well, I feel like will it grab you if you don't have OCD?
No. It's not an OCD thing. It's not an OCD thing.
Okay.
And shout out to
Because you
Pixel
said
Big G.
management sim, and I was like, okay.
Yes. Shout out to Pixel in the chat. He said he was trying to connect with this game, but like, there was too much darkness in his soul or something. Like this game is like it's systems upon systems upon systems upon. It is. I have never seen so many systems being put in one game that's all wrapped in this cute, weird aesthetic while dark stuff is happening at all aspects. Like
I just want to take another moment to shout out Devolver Digital.
Oh, bro,
for the eyes that they have
bro.
on indie talent.
If it's not Devolver, it's Annapurna. But for some reason, the two of them have come to play.
Listen. Annapurna's great, but I don't think they making moves out here like Devolver.
Are you serious? Annapurna is as good as Devolver. I think they're tit for tat, man. They're tit for tat.
Chat, what do you think?
Yes, please. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Annapurna or Devolver?
Annapurna versus Devolver. Let's
notice we're not talking about Embracer Group in this conversation.
Well, we're not there yet.
Wouldn't even be a fair fight.
Calm down. We're not there yet. We're gonna get there. We're not there yet. But there is no denying that either or, right? Annapurna or Devolver are the best at indie talent discovery. Can we say that?
They're two of the best, but if there was only one slot, it goes to Devolver.
You just want to keep having that fight. All right. See, okay, so let's see. Devolver as a more of a publisher.
People seem to be agreeing with me, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm telling you, the only two main publishers in recent years have really I've come to their games with such unusual reverence for their stuff. They have a very unusual eye, and I see that both in Devolver and in Annapurna. And I guess maybe the reason why
also in marketing, like when you see a Devolver presentation,
their marketing as well. Yep, 100%. Yep. Yeah. Now the reason why I put Annapurna up there and you're speaking solely Devolver is I've come to realize that Annapurna also seems to surprise me a lot in film. Like, even in film, they're doing that same thing they do in games where they give you this weird stuff that you would never think to like, but then you see their logo on it, you try it out, and it becomes this monumental thing. They seem to know how to do that. So that's why I think I kind of lump it together for them, movie and games. They do really well in both aspects.
I think they do better in movies than they do in games, but I do like their games. Just not as much as Devolver Digital games. That's all.
So yeah, this game, you are okay. So light, not spoiler, but just a kind of a higher.
It's fine.
Okay,
don't worry.
So they kill you. You go to wherever you go, and the prophecy is fulfilled. They thought they were killing the prophecy by killing you, but since they killed you, they send you to the person they wanted. Exactly. And now you have that person's power. He's trapped elsewhere, and you must now create a cult, right? Using his powers to then build yourself up, build minions, legions, if you will, so that you can take on the competition, which is the other. Oddly enough, really weird. This gave me the synopsis of this game gave me vibes of what the heck you call it? Moon Knight. Did you watch the Disney Plus show?
Yes, I did.
Yes, it's literally Moon Knight. That's what this is. There's this one's avatar versus the other one's avatar, and because they each have their own avatars, they're using their avatar's powers to try and
So what you're telling me is you're going to end up turning on your god.
Well, I haven't done that yet. I haven't gotten that far yet. But I guess the reason why. Well, we shall see. The reason why I find this so interesting is you spend the first half of this game and it goes to places. You have to first off, roguelike. So you find your weapons. You're in the world, as we've already said. The weapon, the combat is surface level. It's a little shallow, but it's fun. It's enjoyable.
It's satisfying enough.
It's satisfying. Yes, it's satisfying enough. Perfect. It could be deeper. It's not that death's door, but it's satisfying enough, right? So you're going in there, and now you're basically dungeon crawling, finding all manner of material and coins and logs and stone and this and that and this and that. And then when you come home, and while you're on your path, dungeon crawling, you can come randomly across like people or animals, creatures in the world, and you have to either choose to save them or not save them. And when you save them, you can then like bring them to your village, which you're looking at now, and then they become part of your cult. And each of them
kind of build stats.
They help you build that's right. But you got to feed them. You got to keep the faith up. They poop everywhere. You got to clean the poop. Although when you clean the poop, it becomes fertilizer for their food. Now, here's where things get interesting. As you're growing,
this doesn't sound like anything that I would want to do.
Well, but listen carefully. Listen carefully. The reason why this game is, and by the way, in its first week, three developers. In its first week, 1 million players. In its first week. Okay, so this game's got something. It's got something. Okay, so you start it up, you're doing, and every time you get a new cult member, you get to name them. You can pick their color, their face, what kind of animal they are. People are naming them their friends.
I spent like 20 minutes literally just stylizing my first devotee.
Exactly. Yes. And people are calling them the different names and this and that and all the other, right? And then eventually, and I'm not going to spoil it, but eventually you go to places where you realize that, hey, this acolyte, this entity that's giving you his power, that wants you to start a cult, he wants you to start a cult and use your cult as fuel to help him get out of wherever he is. Right? So to use them as fuel, you need to make sure you indoctrinate them correctly. Make sure they are completely loyal to you, and there are ways of doing that. Make sure they are completely, you know what I'm saying? And just think about any dark movie or show or anything you've seen where all these dark themes are put together, and everything you can think of in its most malicious, most craziest thing, this game offers you. But in the goofiest, like cutest, all while murdering your people. Like, oh, you want to get that new power? Well, how about you go and you murder your oldest acolyte? Make sure everybody else sees it. And if you do it correctly, everybody else will recognize that you are omnipotent and have power, and you'll get extra. Like, this is the kind of game this is. And it gets worse and worse. And the worse it gets, the cuter it gets. It is, I can't stop playing it, bro. I can't stop. And on Steam Deck, it is chef's kiss. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is the kind of thing the Steam Deck was made for.
It amazes me what people can do, what a small amount of people can do with an interesting idea. They literally threw 3 games in one, and each of them works so well that it shouldn't work together well, but it works so well together. It's amazing.
But
amazing.
This kind of goes to show you that, like, no matter how far we've come, like technology wise, and like gameplay is king.
It's king.
Nintendo tells you that. What?
Nintendo tells you that with the
but that's what I mean. Like all of this, like cutscenes and voice acting and all this other stuff. The gameplay. That's always what it is. That's what it is about. That's what it's always been about.
Yep.
And the other things
hold on.
there to distract you.
I don't mean to cut you, but he explained it before when you weren't here. Shout out to Gerald Mack. Sir, apologies. We caught your message this morning. We had, and I see other folks in here. Drawn TJ, welcome, good sir. Yes, this is not our normal time, but we unfortunately, life happens, man. Between the man and myself, kids, wives, work, all of that, sometimes you guys, the time slip a little bit, but we appreciate y'all still sticking with us. And I appreciate my man here for continuing, even if we have to do it at night, sometimes it's good to podcast at night. Then we can drop that PG-13 and drop some more slanderous takes from time to time. But anyways, so back to the show. You really need to give this game a chance, because what I'm telling you is, and this is from from a perspective of opening your mind as to developing something yourself, or like trying new idea yourself. When you really dig through it, it is tried and true. These methods, what they're doing here, but it's so uniquely expressed. And It's literally 3 dudes who put this together. Now, obviously, if you dig into the details, I'm sure you'll find contractors. I'm sure you'll find, they hired help and all of this. And obviously, Devolver won't let you build the whole thing yourself. They see you're on the right path. They'll help you out, of course. But still, 3 guys had an idea. They took 3 known genre of games and they kind of smacked them together, and they added this cult thing going on, and it's very dark, like scary dark. Like, it's so cute. My daughter wants to watch me playing it. I play on my Steam Deck. She wants to lie on my back and watch me as I play it. And as cute as it is, I cannot let her do that, because at any moment's notice, I could be shanking one of these sheep. I'm sorry. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So yes, just from the idea of just getting your creative juices flowing, Everborn, when I saw this game, I was like, yo, this shows you what can be done now. We're in a new era of ideas and indie games. What do you think?
No, 1000%. And again, listen, Unreal Engine 5 is free until your project makes $1 million.
Indeed, yes.
Right? Unity they got to get their pricing structure in order, but it's still relatively cheap for if you want to develop something. And when you see the tools that are out there, and again, and this is why I keep saying this, that there's so much knowledge in these gaming communities, the ones that we are a part of, and others that we aren't. I'm telling you, man, I really think it's time for us to kind of step out of the sidelines and get into this stuff. Because listen, there's tutorials that show you how to make games that don't even require code. Right?
Yes.
These are things that you can do. So, and we keep getting more and more examples of this. There was Death's Door, there was Tunic, there is this. There's all these other games where when you hear the amount of people that made that and the impact that such a small group of people made. And I know that these are the outliers. There are thousands of games made every year that
for every Death's Door, there's that what are it, Kratos clone game that they put on Xbox.
Exactly. But still, you have to understand though, even that Kratos clone was someone learning how to do this.
Well, technically, to my understanding, that company who does that, it's what they do. They throw shovelware out there because they know people like achievements, so they'll just throw like 1,000 achievements at you in 5
minutes. Hey man, I'm not gonna. I can't knock the hustle. What I'm saying is,
you just pay $10 to get your achievements. It's good.
Listen, that's not a terrible business model.
Oh, it's a business model. Listen to Randall Thor tell you about it. He has spoken about it. Where there's a couple of developers. All they do is just hand you $10 achievement points. 1,000 achievement points, $10. It's a goofy game, but you just click it 10 times. You got it. They do that.
No, man.
Oh yeah,
look,
crazy.
Listen. Anyway, the
entrepreneurial
brain is working. That maybe should. It's late. Let me turn that off. But my point is, relating to this at the Steam Deck and these smaller games, the other games that I've been playing, as you know, as I keep repeating, are Shredder's Revenge and Streets of Rage 4. And that is all in reference to the Redlands game that we're working on. And that's a lot of what I've been doing. I have been going to bed at 2 and 3 a.m. every morning, getting up at 7 to do my actual 9 to 5, which is really 9 to 6, which is even more than that, because Crunch is not just in the video game industry, but that's neither here nor there. The point is,
says the man buying 2 Teslas.
Hey man,
I had to do it. I'm sorry, I had to do it. I had to.
What can I say? But the thing is, the point. But hold on a minute. This is what I'm talking about.
I need to get the soundboard.
So should you feel bad for me for crunching when you see me buying 2 Teslas? But then we turn around. And then say we either feel bad or don't feel bad for people who are working overtime just like you. But anyway, the point that I'm coming to is, I have been on this journey working on this Redlands game, and the art team is kind of really turning things up now. I'm gonna get my first. We did sprite sheets first just to get me started, and now we're in a place where we're waiting on actual animations from Spine, and we're gonna integrate that in, and then we're gonna start, putting in some finalized assets. We're nowhere near done. This is just all beginning stages, but anyway, the point is, things are moving quickly. I have been trying to post at least one thing per day as it relates to the game development, and I will continue to do that. And I will start to do live streams when I'm coding in the middle of the night, and it'll just be on the channel, and people can come along and check that out. And I want everyone to know I am terrible, but
hey man, it's no, you're not terrible. Everybody else is terrible. All the people who are trying, who want to make a game but won't even put pencil to paper, won't put hands to keyboard, y'all are terrible. He's at least trying something, and there's literally representation on the screen showing its worth. So trying is not terrible.
Yeah, I could put together a mean SQL query.
Hey,
he's this video game code is something different.
Not trying is a terrible thing. Yes. Real quick before I see the message go away, I saw William. I think it was William who asked the question. He asked, "Was this is the rumor? There's a rumor that was started by Gary Whitta, saying that this game, Cult of the Lamb, was one of the games that was money hatted by Sony to keep it off of Game Pass." Yeah, he said it. He said it live on the show, and it turned the whole thing. Devolver Digital has since come out and literally said it very untrue. Maybe they lied. Who knows? But Devolver is saying that did not happen. So
listen, let's call like facts, right? Okay. If you have a game that already has significant hype going into it, and you have those metrics when you are about to release a game.
Yep.
If you don't think that your launch window is as high as you want it to be, then yes, you take the check. That serves as a form of advertisement. There's hype around it. There's millions of people playing your game. Those millions of people will talk about it to their friends. Their friends may not have Game Pass. They may be on PlayStation, and then they will go and buy said game. And you've already hopefully gotten your development costs covered. That's what you do when your game does not have significant buzz. But when it does, and you have the potential of doing
write it out
1 million copies in your first week for something with as small of a develop. I don't know what the development budget is here, but let's assume that it's small. Why would you take that? Right? Yeah. Because listen, we just heard what Power Wash Simulator, they gave them $600,000, which is great.
No, that was not Power Wash.
Which one?
No, Power Wash got way more than that. What you're talking about is fruit cutting simulator or whatever. Like it's a $20 game that literally was like dead. It was done, and they gave him $600,000 to put it back on Game Pass. That's the one you're talking about.
Okay, so let me know the name of that, because I just told a friend of mine that Power Wash Simulator. So I gave him false information. Not online. This is an offline friend.
No, I'll find it. No worries. Continue.
Yeah, let me know the name of that, because I want to call him after the show and correct what I was telling him. Cooking Simulator.
Yes, I think it's Cooking Simulator.
Okay. Anyway, $600,000 will pay off my mortgage, right?
Yep.
I'll take that. But if I have a potential, if I'm getting ready to release the Redlands game and there's already buzz about it, right? We did it on Steam Early Access. We did a demo. People are talking about it. I've had articles written. I'm looking at the metrics of the YouTube channels. I'm looking at the mentions on Twitter. I'm looking at the follow counts. I'm looking at the likes and all of that. And I know I have a potential of a large launch.
Yeah, it's not in their best interest to do that.
This is $30 million they made in the first week if they sold 1 million copies, or 25 million, whatever it costs.
Yeah, whatever.
Are you going to get, like, Microsoft's not going to give you $25 million for this game?
No.
Right? No. So,
but they will happily maybe give you 1 million, possibly. Or if you wait 2-3 years, they'll give you 600,000 to put it on Game Pass.
Yeah, but this is my point.
There you go. Yes.
But if you have a potential of making 25 million in your first week, gross, but whatever,
Mhm.
I don't mean like disgusting. I mean like before
Yeah.
expenses.
Yeah.
You're gonna ride it out. That's
Mhm.
basic, and that's not an indictment
It
on
makes
Game
sense.
Pass.
It makes sense.
It
Yeah.
is just that's the nature of the
And that is
beast.
the reason why folks that want first party in there, because if you want that shiny new amaze balls, oh my god, only available here, it should come from first party. No
And,
third party will ever do that because it's not advantageous for them to
right,
do
and that's the whole like disingenuous argument you hear from people when they hear Strauss Zelnick saying, "Oh, a subscription service doesn't make sense to us." Of
yeah,
course, it doesn't.
it doesn't, of course it
You
doesn't.
make Grand Theft Auto.
That's right.
Why would it make sense to you? You don't own the platform. It
Yeah.
will make sense for the platform holder to because the game, yes, it will get sales on other platforms. Yes, it will get you new subscribers, but it also serves as advertisement that you would have had to spend tens of millions of dollars on in order to get that buzz. And so that is why it makes sense if you're the platform holder, but not necessarily a third party publisher that has an already popular IP. And
Absolutely.
you would think this was basic knowledge.
Well, it is. It makes logical sense if you think about it. It's just, then it counteracts certain narratives, so that stuff gets omitted. But that's neither here nor there.
I
Ooh, oh
suppose
yeah. See,
too
so
late for
as
me
you
to be
can
getting
see,
this worked up.
one of my acolytes died. Now I gotta either choose to use him as food for my other acolytes, or I can leave his body there so that it can gross out others.
So you can't play this as a paragon, is what you're saying.
The game is psychotic, bro. I'm telling you, and it's shrouded in cuteness. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen, and I can't stop playing it. It's really good. It really is. It's so good. I can't believe they came up with this idea and they were able to execute it so well. Anyway, it spurs my creativity for indie development and indie developers in general. There's just so much that can be done now. Look at
Speaking of
this stuff.
indie
It's amazing.
development, listen, I
Mhm.
do want to get all the community involved making games. I would love
Mhm.
it if all of us are indie devs and just putting out our projects and we're trying
Oh yeah.
everybody's project out and supporting it and sharing things
Mhm.
instead of
Mhm.
arguing about companies that we have no financial attachment to other than the money that we give them out of our pockets. It would be dope if we were all just people making indie games arguing about this stuff. But whatever. Pixelbit G is already down this path. You have been talking about getting down this path.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where are you guys at? What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, yeah. People in the chat, please let us know. Let's
No,
start this
I'm
conversation.
asking you, sir,
Oh, me,
and
me
Pixel.
specifically? Oh,
Yes.
me specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, come on now. Me, I've been playing. I've been playing around with this for a while. I actually built one already, and it's like I think it's on the 360. I have a lot I'm training on right now, both for work. So I'm kind of it's kind of making it difficult for me to train for work and learn what I need to learn here as well. I feel like I'm going to be crossing my technology streams a little bit.
That's yeah.
You,
Yes,
you know what I'm
you
saying?
will. I can tell you
Yeah,
that for
so
the first time.
that's why I'm kind of like focusing on AWS practitioner right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mine is going to
And then
expire next year. By the way, I got the solutions architect.
oh, mother effers, man, they make one that expires on you, mother. Anyway,
Yes, it only
so
lasts 3
needless to
years.
say, and just so you know, I own a copy of Game Maker. So I make Game Maker. I've used Game Maker Studio 2 to make some games.
William,
I
do it. Make it. It's
Oh
super
yeah.
easy.
And these days with the communities that we have and the internet, and you can go on Twitter and you can talk to people, you will find yourself the artist that you're looking for. You will find yourself the coder that you're looking for. If you really want to collaborate, it's just out there. I am really down that path myself. I'm not 100% ready yet because work is doing things to me right now that I kind of want to focus
I'm
on.
sacrificing sleep, probably taking years off the end of
Yeah.
my life. Listen,
Yeah.
the thing is this that I will say, like,
Mm.
there's so much of and a lot of us don't realize this, or we do, but we sort of ignore it. A lot of what you see online is geared towards what they think you will interact with. So once you start interacting with more I don't want to say positive and negative things, but if you start interacting with developer tutorials, those will be recommended to you in your life on YouTube and social media, Twitter or whatever like that. Your interactions will change. And so I was just doing a tutorial on YouTube last night. See, right now, YouTube mostly recommends to me gaming news things because they know that's what I interact with. But once you start doing those like Unreal or Unity,
or you do one Unreal thing, you'll see nothing but Unreal things come at you.
I just implemented a finite state machine, and I'm thinking of like re-architecting the background of the game because it just gives you so much more control. And that was like a half-hour tutorial just to sort of run through it. And now I want to actually like use it for my own purposes. These things are it's so much fun. I have not felt this engaged in any work I was doing for I don't know how long. And so when I tell you it's fulfilling just to see your thing move on the screen,
absolutely
do it. It doesn't matter how much you sell in the beginning. Each thing you do will get you further down the path, and you'll get better and better. And before you know it, you're releasing the million seller 1 week.
I tell this to people all the time. If you're okay with coding but are messed up with art, Humble Bundle, go there. You will find an asset bundle, and literally they'll go RPG bundle, like a million different assets, fighting bundle, whatever bundle you're looking for. What kind of game do you think you're making? They'll give you art assets just to kind of plop into your game until you find a more unique look that you want to do. You'll at least be able to start somewhere, use something. It's really cool and useful.
Listen,
I've been able to do a lot with it.
This is the other thing that I recommend, and we'll move off of the soapbox.
Yes, sir. Yes.
He's like, wrap it up. No, use the asset store that Unreal has it. Unity has it.
A lot of free stuff in there too.
You can get full projects that you can just go through and reskin just so you can learn how to make that kind of a project, and then you start customizing it to whatever you want, and it becomes more than reskin, because usually when people start with a template, it'll just happen like what I do. I start with a template, but I end up rewriting the whole game, the back end for the whole game, because I need it to do what I want it to do in the way that I want it to do.
I hope I say this correctly. Gogo Poe, right? Am I saying that right? He's saying I'm too old to start getting into game dev. Well, maybe board games, but not video games. I think you are wrong, sir. I don't know how old you are.
It's easier than you think.
Yes, right.
And you know what that is? And this is in the book that I had recommended to you about. No, this might have been in the Icarus Deception, but The Simple Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Great book. Check it out.
Evening podcast, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Go ahead.
Hey, but it talks about how we black box things, right? It's not, don't feel bad. We all do it. Yeah. And I have so much to worry about. I can't worry about that. So that thing is a black box. I just need to know what I get from it, and I move on. I don't need to know how it works, right? So, and an example of this is, and if you're 40 years old like me, you came from a time where your parents would ask you to set the clock on the microwave or the VCR. And it's the simplest thing in the world, but for them, because they haven't grown up in a world of technology, changing the time on the VCR, changing the clock on the VCR is a big deal. And they have black boxed it. So in their mind, it's like, ooh, technology, I don't know how to do it. But really, it's just, you look at it, you press the button. And a lot of that is why I think a lot of us don't get into technology, is because we've black boxed it and just said, it's code.
Absolutely. Yeah. Real quick, Big Bad Mo, he's asking if this is Unreal. No, sir. Believe it or not, this is Unity.
I knew
this was made in Unity.
I knew it was Unity the moment I saw it. But so again, I'm saying all this to say you don't have to black box it, because once you start to see what's going on, your brain will literally begin to rewire itself. The synapses will start to connect, and it's just like learning anything, right?
It seems scary because you don't understand it, but once you start digging into it, it starts unfurling itself in front of you, and you start getting it more and more and more as you keep going on. It makes perfect sense.
And this is the thing: don't be afraid to make something that's whack at first because you made
We
it,
all do.
and that's
We
more
all make
than
whack
most
things.
people.
That's
So,
right. We all make whack things.
Yeah.
But you know what? I appreciate, and we should do more of this, Everborn. I'm serious, because
I'm here for it.
a lot of folks love this technology stuff. They love the community. They love the gaming. But it seems like you're saying, it seems very black box. It seems ominous. Seems like a large uplift that can never be climbed, or a hill that can never be climbed. They say, but clearly, as you dig through it and you show, hey, you can do it. You don't have to do it perfectly. More and more folks will start getting into it. Maybe we'll start seeing some more indie folks show up and want to show us their games. I would love to feature your game on my show.
There's an old saying, is it takes a decade of hard work to be an overnight success.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Indeed.
So,
indeed.
Do it. Don't worry about it. Make it happen.
Indeed. Yes.
And graphics aren't everything. You don't have to worry about that.
No, not at all. Yes. Look at the abacus known as the Switch. I'm sorry. I will say that until somebody gives me a new Switch that's not an abacus. Let us move on to the news of the week. And I'm starting right at the top. I'm starting right from jump, because there's no need to belabor the point. We need to have this conversation because last time we were here, we had this conversation about Death Stranding potentially coming to Xbox Game Pass for PC.
Yes.
Right?
So
we had this conversation. Now it's official.
Before you get into this, I'm just going to take a nap, and if you could wake me up when it comes to the actual console, I'll be right back. Okay?
Well, this is no, but this is the point this is the conversation I want to have with you. You're going exactly down the path that I want to have with you. And this was for those who watch us on the various shows we do, this came out. We were talking about this on Boom Show. It was very surprising to me that this was happening the way it is, and I was like, it'll be very interesting to find out what build this is. And now we know what build it is, right? This game came out.
Is this the director's cut?
No.
Okay.
It's not the director's cut, and it's not the Epic Game Store version. This is the Steam version. Why?
Okay.
You know that because when you by virtue of it being the Steam version, at some point they will there are unlocks in the game for Half-Life, and it was only released on the Steam version of that game, not the Epic Game Store. So literally 505 Games took the Steam version of the game and slapped achievements on them.
Okay. What?
Which I find super interesting. I want to know how all of this came to be, because there is no console version of this game, and implementing Xbox Live presence isn't a turnkey thing. It is a backbone related thing. Putting Xbox saves that will be on the Xbox, like the Xbox's cloud, is not
because isn't it just a set of APIs that you call that will go and interface with?
No, you're absolutely right. But we're talking about a product that's already shipped, and it's already been qualified, and it's already in the hands of consumers. Just to change that API call requires a lot. Corporate America man, as I am, requires a whole lot of uplift, a whole lot of process to then unravel the code, to then replace what the save was and tap into the Microsoft infrastructure and then requalify it.
The way we design things at work, sir, we externalize all of our API endpoints. So instead of doing new deploys, we're already hitting a database. That's
because the
URL. But I'm sure,
but listen carefully though. But that's because that from jump, you will need to access those endpoints at some point. Are we saying, that's why I'm bringing this up. Are we saying that from jump, they knew this was going to be multiplat? Because that's the only reason they would have a version with XBL available.
No, I don't know that that's the case, right? I think
it's not easily implemented. I've looked it up. I've looked into it.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, if the game already has Steam achievements, right? Or Steam,
yes, it has Steam achievements,
right?
Yes.
So if you're calling an endpoint,
they're not building achievements from scratch. No, they have the achievements already. They know what they are. They know what you need to do to pop them. And let's be clear. This is a PlayStation game, so all the achievements literally are PlayStation trophies that were then rebranded achievements
right.
for
But
Steam.
what I'm just telling you right now, developer Everborn, if I didn't want to touch any of the code and the endpoints are already externalized, I'm going to make an interface with a new URL that will parse whatever
I see what you're saying. I get that.
The
I guess my
is
point
asking for.
I guess the point I'm trying to make.
The game. Anyway, this new endpoint is going to call Xbox Live, get the results.
But you don't get the point I'm making though. I hear you, and that is normal practice for products that are like from jump to be on multiple platforms. And this is an IP that has now been verified to be owned by Sony. This is owned.
Where was that verified? 505 Games is publishing this.
You can literally verify that on Steam. Grub verified it, but you can verify it on Steam. It says Death Stranding, what do you call it? Registered trademark, wholly owned, blah, 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 Sony Corporation. That they own the IP. Like, it is verified. Okay? This is not one of those MLB The Show situations where someone else can supersede you and then you have to just deal.
If they own the IP, why is 505 Games publishing it?
Because 505 Games published it. In general, that was the deal. When Kojima, remember, this is the people forget what happened with this game. This game was, hey, Metal Gear is coming out, right? And at the tail end of the new Metal Gear coming out, Kojima left the company, right? Survive was Metal Gear Survive was then shown off. It was a shit show, as people now remember, right? And this was Kojima's thumbing his nose, my first independent game. I don't need anybody to make. So although he used the Decima engine ultimately, right, because he's a Sony dude, he uses Decima engine. He did not publish with Sony, right? And it came out on the Epic Game Store. He made a deal there. It was everywhere. He was trying to be independent with it. So I think the only tie that bound was the fact that they ultimately went with Decima. But it was actually meant to be a quote-unquote third-party game that anybody could potentially get. But when Decima became part of the equation, Sony was like, okay, you can use the engine, and they ultimately published it on the console, and they ended up owning the IP for it, which, hey, clearly Koji was okay with that.
I don't know how true that is.
Hey, if I'm lying, so is Grub, and so is it's on there. I can show it to you.
The man with
I guess what I'm saying to you is it's a very unique situation that this game finds itself in, because unlike MLB The Show, where there is some a higher power that could potentially move the scales, right? This doesn't have that, right? So this will never end up on a console, will it? Does this mean, and this is a genuine question I'm asking, does this mean this is a Gears of War situation where there's like a magical PS3 version somewhere that no one will ever see? Because there is one for Gears of War. We've seen it.
So several things. There's two different realities or scenarios here. One is Sony does own the Sony doesn't own the IP, and because it was already on PC, this was
for the sake of this argument, for the sake of this conversation. Let's say what's been reported is correct, and they own the IP.
I'm coming to that, right? So they either don't own it. Kojima does what he wants. It's a minimal uplift once it's already on PC to say we're going to implement Xbox Live services. We throw some PlayFab in there, done deal, whatever, right? Minimal effort. But ultimately not up to Sony. But now if we go to the scenario that you say Jeff Grubb is reporting and that you looked into, if that is the reality, then I don't think it ends here. Right?
Yeah. Oh no, I completely agree with you. 100%.
And the reason for that is you don't have a PC launcher yet. And even if you did have a PC launcher, your subscription service does not incorporate
any kind of PC offerings.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
So until it does, and until you do have your own launcher, and if you're already on PC, if you were going to port to the Windows Store, why not take the bag from Microsoft?
True.
They don't care about your narrative, Mr. Fanboy. Not
Yeah,
anyone
true,
here.
true. Yeah.
They don't. What they care about is cold, hard cash.
Cha-ching.
Pay
And
that man his money.
pay him
That's
his
what
money,
they care about.
Well, and real quick, to your point, shout out to the folks at at the at the Xbox era, Nick, special Nick. They were having a podcast recently, and he said basically the same thing. He was basically speculating that based on what he is seeing and things that he's hearing, and we know he hears things. Basically, Jim Ryan would be very Phil Spencer if Japan would let him be. He'd be very Phil Spencer. He'd be
Sega would still be a first-party publisher if they would have listened to the their Sega of America counterparts.
It is what it is.
Don't want to be they didn't want to be undone.
It's not said too much. It's not said too loudly in our gaming circle, but I do really hear, like, and Nick has said it a couple times. I think I've even heard Jez speak on it a little bit, that sometimes the Japanese side influences the American side, and for better or for worse. And in this case, it might not be, necessarily what it appears to be. Obviously, they're keeping, it's the company. They're going where they're going. But if he had his way, presumably he'd be more like Phil, and you'd see their games everywhere. Like that's the word from them. So I'm not surprised here. Right?
Listen,
now, what do you think of this little quick, before we move on, and I'll let you speak. What do you think of this little quick aside that also took the internet by storm when people started looking into it? And not only did they see this thing, they also saw the spider right in between.
Yeah. So about the spider, I want to nip that in the bud. Now, I do separately want to say I do think Spider-Man is on the table, but not because of this.
No, not
because as I understand it, that was always in the logo.
Yes,
that spider.
Yes, that's always been in the logo. Yes, I know. I played Death Stranding. It was in the logo back then, but for some reason, it's become big news today.
Would be hilarious though if they tried to retcon that and say, "We knew Spider-Man was going to come all along." No, but more seriously, I do think. I do think Spider-Man could be next because you have to understand, they wholeheartedly believe in the windowed strategy. And I don't mean Microsoft Windows, but ultimately that's where it will end up. Your day one box sales, hundreds of millions of dollars, fantastic. Once that dissipates, you do a re-release in the form of a director's cut or a remaster, sell it again, then do one or two more of those. And then after you've charged for the game 3 times, then you put in your own subscription service. And then this is like 3 or 4 years later now. Then you release it on PC. And no, I'm saying this is after they've sold you the game 3 times on console.
I hear you.
Then you put it on PC, and then when the PC sales dissipate, you get another pop by throwing it in the Game Pass and taking that check. It makes a lot of sense, right? And it takes nothing away from what the game was going to do.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I actually think another Quantic Dream game might be more on the table before anything else. I would not be surprised if I see Detroit Become Human, because much like Death Stranding, Detroit was the next one, also published by 505, also a PlayStation, quote unquote PlayStation game that then got an exclusivity run on Epic Game. It's literally following the same trajectory as Death Stranding, and it's also everywhere now, except for the console, except for the competing console, of course. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see, Detroit Become Human come on Game Pass for PC, which would be surprising. What I really do want to know one day, and I'm hoping that maybe the Grubs of the world or somebody will dig through the details and provide that for us, and we can move on. But I really would like to know, like, what the process was like from the Steam version of the game here. Okay, Steam version of the game. Okay, we have an Xbox deal. How did y'all put Xbox Live? How did y'all get it to be Xbox Live compatible at that point? Because yes, the technical aspects of it aren't difficult if you set it up from jump. I'm not so sure they started the Decima Death Stranding plan expecting to put it everywhere like that. I'm not sure that's how they started.
I'm going to tell you that they did, and at the very least, it was done during the port. And again, we're just talking about API calls here. Those things are usually not hard coded anyway. I don't think it was as huge of a deal. And you do have to do the front end stuff, but a lot of the times that's handled on a separate layer from the game itself. So you really,
so there was requalification needed, but not at that extent. But still, it's just very interesting because usually, and the reason why I'm on this is because, like, as y'all know, I play a lot of games on PC everywhere else as well. Right now, today, if you were to go download the Ubisoft game Rainbow Six Wildlands, right, the game that is on Xbox. It's on Xbox. You can play it today on Xbox. You can buy it on Xbox achievements, the whole thing. If you right now go to Game Pass and download the PC version, you're getting the Ubisoft Connect non-Game Pass version, having of achievements, Xbox Live, none of that. Right? They're basically giving you the like isolated experience. But then this game, which has no reason to have achievements, is getting achievements just for the Xbox Game Pass for PC run. It's very inconsistent.
If it's going to be in Game Pass for PC, it should have achievements. Anyway, I think
all of them should. All of them should. It's consistency.
I think it's much to do about nothing, to be honest.
That's what you're saying. You're saying that because you don't play on that platform. Why does my man, and he's not here, but why did my man, Mr. John Wolf, return his Steam Deck? Because he started playing the games, and all of a sudden the Achievos didn't pop.
That's crazy. All the crap I was talking with John Wolf, and I'm like, yeah, I'm keeping mine. No, but I do want to say, I think we are going to be surprised at the things that Sony will do, because listen, they don't care about the shit we're arguing about in spaces.
No.
They care about money, and as the market opens up, you are going to see these things go where they go, and the old rules just they really don't apply anymore, and people will get used to it. I do want to say, and I'm so ho-hum about Death Stranding, because I can only pretend that I cared about a game
like
before it came to my platform of choice. I can only do that one time, and I'm reserving that for Call of Duty.
I think I played about 10, 12 hours of Death Stranding. I might try it again. It is an unusual game.
I will try it if it comes to console.
Of course.
That is and I wouldn't buy it. It would have to be in Game Pass. Not because I don't care about.
It's in Game Pass now, and you just plug in an Xbox controller. Just saying, and you'll get your Achievos and everything. Yeah. Let's move forward. I know you saw this. How excited are you for Redfall after seeing the 20-minute deep dive?
So there's something I want to talk about before we get into the actual game itself.
Okay.
We have been, if you're in the Xbox community, we have been talking about how Microsoft and Xbox or whoever, they need to find a better way to showcase their games, to build hype around these things, because the way they've been showcasing their stuff, it's been one marketing blunder after another. And we've said the template is right there. You have Nintendo with their directs. You have Sony's with their state of plays. When they want to do a deep dive and get everybody hype and get everybody talking about it, everybody gets hype. Everybody's talking about it. Why can't Microsoft look at what they're doing? And this right here is how you showcase a game. I was not like when we got the first gameplay at the big E3 or yearly presentation or whatever at the Xbox showcase, I was high on the game, right? I'm like, this looks good. But this is now has moved up to one of my most anticipated of 2023 because of that. And they need to do this with all of their like big games. Do your 20-minute deep dives, have the developers show you what they were thinking, why they're making
This
this
is not the
decision.
first time you're seeing this from Microsoft, though. I mean, like last year when they did their big show, they did another show where they did exactly the same thing. Where
Yeah, but it
even
wasn't like this. It
they
was
sat
not like this.
down, the developers were talking, they showed you the deep
Yes,
dive, they did the whole
in the
deal.
way that they did that,
Mhm.
people watched it and rolled their eyes. This was just interesting the whole way through. It really seems like they've had media prep to use keywords to get you interested in these products. The
I
sit
love the animation
downs,
style of this, man. I love it. Look at the eyes; it's amazing. I love
yeah,
the animation style here. Anyway,
and that's the
continue.
thing.
Yeah.
The what they did last year with the after show was really like, and like, just be honest. You're sitting down with a host, and you know we love Paris, we love what they did, but it was not as engaging as this was, and it was for so many titles, so nothing got the main focus. This is one video for one title to tell you that this title is special, as
Sure.
opposed to having an overall after showcase where we're going to show you 5 games and we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff you don't care about.
Sure.
This right here, this is what you do. More of this, less of everything else. I think they have a new format to go with in the way they show their games and talk about them.
Now, what do you think of the content that you saw?
I love it. Listen, as soon as they said, and I know everybody's open world, whatever. As soon as he said you find a boss and you can't take them on, and then you can leave and go fight some lesser people and level up and come back and
let me guess, you went Elden Ring. I'm sold.
Yes, I was like, that's it. That's all you had to tell me.
I knew he was gonna go there.
In there like swimwear, and these graphics look amazing.
They look great. They look great.
Like,
I don't know who's clowning. They look great. Absolutely.
So you have graphics that look like this with arcane style gameplay. Like, this is the one, man. People talking about Starfield.
Yep.
And you know me.
This will surprise people, I think.
The focus is on single player just as important as co-op. I'm like, maybe it's not going to work out that way, but they were speaking my language the whole time. Now, my question is to you, sir. Why couldn't Halo look like this good? It's an open world.
Oh, come on now. Yeah, you gotta cut 343 some slack, okay? You gotta cut 343 some slack. They have had the weight of Bungie on their shoulders for years.
That's not what, but that has nothing to do with what I'm asking right now.
No, it does. It does. Look, if they want to go in their own direction, if they want to be bold, look, Arcane started from nothing. They started from an idea and they went, oh, well, let's try something. And they have the opportunity to do that. 343 does not have that opportunity. Because the minute you make Master Chief run a little faster, you got
but that has nothing to do with visual fidelity. Anyway, yes, this is a next-gen only game, and maybe that's why we're seeing.
But that's the point. Yes, it does have something to do with why the fidelity is the way it is. They have a lot of taskmasters to appease. Arcane didn't. You either like it or you don't, and you move forward, right? If you hear Halo, there is so much history that comes and baggage that comes with that thing. They can't move if they want to.
So they can't have good graphics if they want to.
They have to be very specific because they went too far in one direction. People went, oh, we don't like it. It's too old school. Then they went the Halo 4 route, which me personally, I liked the way Master Chief looked in Halo 4. A lot of people clowned them about it. They didn't like it. You forget, man, the Halo community is crazy. These people you cannot win with the Halo community. I'm sorry. Where's OBM in here to say that?
No, Pixel BG's right here. All I'm saying about Halo is, wouldn't it be nice if it had this level of visual fidelity? I don't think that's like.
Wouldn't it be nice? But yeah,
I don't think that's a bad thing to say because I'm like, listen, some of these other games they say they're open world, but they're not really open world. And Halo's really an open world. So maybe you can't do that. I don't know, but we're not here to like rag on Halo. I'm just saying. There was a time.
I'm just saying, yes.
There was a time where Halo was top dog in terms of graphics.
look, and you give it short shrift a little bit, because even now Halo is a looker. Yes, there are issues well documented, and we will not get into them now because they've been documented and gone over multiple times. But when you're on the ring and you're playing, you're not complaining about how the graphics look. Yes, it's true, the grass was stunted, and the indoor the dungeons look better than the outside. All true. But when you grapple a tree in the distance and you zoom up to a certain distance,
but again, that is because gameplay is king. Anyway, here's the point. Halo's great. The graphics could have been better, but you are right. While you're playing it, you don't see
Nobody cares.
And it could be, but maybe we should care. But the point that I'm making is
wait for the what is it, the ray tracing patch coming in 2028.
Yeah, that's not we don't
2030.
They should call that the Bruno patch.
Thing we don't talk about. Yeah, understood.
Yes, that's never coming out. But again, Forge, I think, is probably the reason why it looks the way it
by
looks.
All those leaks, it's saving grace, man. It looks like it's amazing what they're doing with that. Forge is going above and beyond.
We will see, what happens when Forge comes out. But back to this game.
Yeah. So, are you going to play this multiplayer?
Absolutely not. But I am going to love, at least from what I'm seeing so far, I'm going to love the single player of this, and just the way they're talking about the vampire. This is my kind of game, man.
They're talking about vampires, but scientifically, not spiritually. They use some science to. Interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what this does. Yes, we'll see.
No, this is great. Listen, this is the beginning, right? When was the this is like Xbox first party exclusive new IP. When was the last time we got this?
Yeah, this is probably one of Microsoft's first real new IP from them. No old this or that. And by the way, this represents a changing of the guard for Arcane. This is them going open world and multiplayer, right? And co-op multiplayer kind of a thing. They said, and previously, I'll let you speak. Previously, they said they're kind of done with the games they were doing. So although we'll see a lot of this in it, we'll see a lot of arcaneness in it. And I mean, when you look at the art style and you look, it speaks a lot. I see Deathloop in there. I see a bunch of other Arcane games, but the games that you're usually used to seeing from them, it's seeming that they're not going to do that anymore. They're going to be more multiplayer.
Are we getting that this year?
What's that? Deathloop?
Yes.
There's still more talk about it. I think it was
yes or no. My answer is no. We don't get it this year.
I think we are getting. I think we are getting it this year.
Okay.
Unless
I don't want any hedging. I don't want hedging. I want yes or no.
Unless the deal was more than 2 years, was more than a year, you'll hear about it in September, because that's when it ends. September 22nd, I think it is. Something like that.
It'd be hilarious if PlayStation got exclusivity in perpetuity for that.
There's just no way. There's just no way, because Microsoft could easily buy that out if that's the case. But yeah. So unless it was a 2-year deal, which it could be, right? A year and a half, we don't know. But if it doesn't exist, you'll hear about it.
You're gonna need a landscaper for all this hedging you're doing.
No, although I will say, and let's, to be fair, this is not me. These aren't my thoughts alone. I'm basically regurgitating Rand and Jez at this point. They were talking about it similarly, exactly like you're saying now. Like, will it come out? And the idea, and Rand said something that was very interesting to me. That he said that I thought I'd bring to your attention. What if it is September? But why would they shadow drop it? Why would they release it? Just like drop it.
Give it the
gravitas it deserves. Give it the attention it needs. Maybe add more content to it.
Exactly. Maybe you give it more content. Maybe you advertise it like a new release.
Add more content to it. New release. Make it the ultra special edition. Blah blah blah. And then it might not release this year. Then they want to give it space, have them build what they need to build, and then give it its own air.
It seems a little
we shall see.
But we
what
we
your convenience with as soon as the deal is done, out of nowhere a bunch of dates will just pop out of Microsoft.
We are going to see.
How convenient is that?
Speaking of that deal, maybe Sony does have a sort of first look thing, or where they can extend it if they want, but not.
See, and honestly, that may very well be the case. But you don't think Microsoft would be like, nah, son, that's a bridge too far?
But no, this is what I'm saying. It depends on who the original contract, like who has the rights to cancel the contract or to end it, right?
I mean, I'm sure there are steep stipulations you can cancel, but you're talking about like
but
monetary penalties.
The question is, if it was a year, but there's a stipulation in the contract that Sony can extend it for some pre-agreed to amount of money. Let's say it's $20 million. I don't know what the number is. I'm just making up a number. Yeah. Sony pays you $20 million and they can extend it without your permission or whatever, right? Because you already agreed to that, and you must agree because it was already agreed to in the initial contract.
And there's no way to cancel it at all.
I mean,
until
you have lawyers, there's ways to cancel everything.
There's always, that's right.
But I do think, again, there's going to be a lot of negotiations happening with COD and all those things.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe this is one of the things on the table. Like, listen, you was going to extend this. We need that back. Or maybe they don't care about it that much because they have the sales numbers and they know how it did. So maybe it's not like a high on their priority list. True.
Exactly. And I've always thought it weird that like games like Deathloop and Ghostwire, like they've come out, they've had their moment in the sun. You've sold them and then you've discounted them. And then when you re-release them, you're going to release them again at full price? Because right now on PlayStation, you can get your Deathloop or your Ghostwire for like $30 because they've discounted them on many occasions.
Yeah.
And then you re-release it fresh and new as the $60 or $70.
You have to release it with new content if you're going to do that.
Yes, exactly. That's my point. That's why it makes me think that if there's a world that you don't see Deathloop this year, maybe they want to pad it out a little bit and make it valuable.
You've played that game. Is there room to extend that as a franchise, or do you think it's a one-off that they're not going to make a sequel to?
That story specifically, it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. But it's possible. It is possible. I mean, you could do a prequel. You could do different protagonist, antagonist. You could take that same style and put different people in the mix. It is possible. It's a very huge people puzzle. I don't know where else they go with it, but then to basically recreate the dynamics of that people puzzle again and again and again, but with different dynamics, with different outcomes, right? I don't know how you do that from a franchise perspective, because they made the people puzzle aspects of that game, in my humble opinion, they made the people puzzle aspects of that game far more interesting than the actual story itself. So you were really blown away, but you were more blown away by the systems and how they're putting it together. And you have to go at this date, at this time, you have to go to this place in order to do this, in order for it to affect that other place at this other time. They did very much that. But because you're so enamored by that, the story kind of goes over, like it just kind of blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So maybe like stick to that same formula and just put it in a different setting. Different protagonist, different place, maybe in a city.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see what it does on Xbox. It didn't do gangbusters on PlayStation. You know what I'm saying?
It did great in terms of critical acclaim, but I don't remember hearing much about numbers on it.
Yeah, numbers. It didn't burn the world down, but people really did like it. And I played and I really did enjoy it. I really do hope they add, like, they make it worth people wanting to play it on Xbox. But okay, so let's move on. And I want to talk about Embracer Group, because that's what we're here to talk about.
Oh boy.
That's what we're here to talk about.
Wait, before we get into that, because I don't know if you have this on your topic list.
Oh yeah, please.
I need someone to explain Lies of P to me.
Ah, yes.
And Themesius or Themesia, it's Thera something.
Theramesia?
Yes.
See,
and I'm probably butchering that name.
Yeah, as am I most likely, but I don't know about as much. I don't know as much about the Terramisia stuff. I've heard about it, but Lies of P. Let me play the trailer. Hopefully they don't get mad at me for doing that. We shall see. So far they've been good with me so far, but needless to say, Lies of P. Have you seen the trailer before?
No, I have not.
It's been like talked about for about a year now. I think it was dropped in 2021. That's when I first saw the trailer. And I will say this to you now because nobody said it to me and it surprised the hell out of me when I found out. Lies of P is about Pinocchio.
Interesting.
That's where the Lies of P comes from. Get it? Like you know, right? I was like, yo, this is way better than it had to be. Like they should have probably said something, like made a bigger deal about that, because it's basically the Pinocchio story retold. Now here's the trailer, and I'll put some on the screen here, and we can talk about it. Like gameplay wise, it's Bloodborne. It's basically Bloodborne. That's what it is. It is Bloodborne. Gameplay wise, but the like Bloodborne was very gothic, and I like Bloodborne. Let the record reflect. Bloodborne plays great. I've always enjoyed it. I actually am not a From player like that, but I played through Bloodborne and I enjoyed it. Right, like I played more of Bloodborne than no. Actually, I think I've almost beat Bloodborne, and I've played through a lot of Elden Ring as well. But I'm that kind of a player, so. I know what Bloodborne looks like, feels like. This game is very much speaking that Bloodborne formula. Now, this was an announcement trailer. Let's find the gameplay trailer because I want you to see actual gameplay of this thing. It's very, very cool. Like it looks like they really honed in on that Bloodborne formula, that FromSoft, like brutal combat, but every time you fail, it's your choice. It's you who failed rather than the game that's kicking your butt, kind of a thing. Okay. It's very, very interesting looking that way. So the reason why it came into the crazy zeitgeist as of late is that the Snitch. Have you heard of the Snitch? I love that guy's name. The Snitch decided to use Morse code to reveal that during Gamescom. That is this gameplay? Hold on, is this gameplay? Let's see. I think gameplay is probably towards the end. That during Gamescom they will reveal more about this. Which, hey, he's already right on one front, because as soon as he said that, 2 days later, Jeff Keighley said, "Hey, guess what? We're going to be showing gameplay of." And the second part, yes, and the second part that really blew up on the internet is day one Game Pass.
That's not been confirmed yet, though.
Hasn't been confirmed yet. But since the first part of the Snitches thing has been confirmed, people are kind of like, holy cow.
And there's a new rumor like, there's going to be a PlayStation showcase in September. I'm like, did the Snitch say it? Then I'm not listening.
Listening. If the Snitch said it, hey, he's the Snitch. I'm just saying. Snitches get stitches. That's the new rhyme in my household.
That is the only PlayStation insider that I will even consider.
He's the only PlayStation insider that exists. Okay, so check out the game. So presumably, and we don't know this, but presumably this is Pinocchio. This is P.
Okay.
And he's walking, and you see the ray tracing on the concrete there.
From Software animations.
Yes, you do. Although no, this is not by From.
I know. Look, I'm just saying it feels like it.
It's they're really speaking the FromSoft language. That's what they're doing here. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what this is about. And if it's true and it's on Game Pass, hey, that's something else.
I mean, this might be something I'd buy anyway. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So obviously we're having riveting audio for our audio listeners, but for those who are listening, we're going through pieces of the Lies of P trailer, gameplay reveal trailer, and man, it is something special. It looks good. It looks quite good. It looks like it had the same kind of effect that Black Myth Wukong did, where they surprise you with the graphics. Oh no, there's a lot to it. I'm not. Look,
You
it's a
want to talk
5-minute
about
trailer.
That's the other
It's
thing
a
I was going to ask
it's
about.
a 5-minute trailer, bro.
Have you
We're not going
seen
to
the
see the
new
whole thing.
Black Myth trailer?
I did, and this like the presentation is really speaking to that. I think that they saw that Black Myth Wukong, the original one from a couple years ago, and they went, "Yo, these guys know how to make a trailer. Let's see what we can do." Right. So you should if y'all have not done so, do yourself a favor. Google. We'll move on, but Google yourself Lies of P. You know. Already, here we go. Black Myth Wukong is never coming out.
Let's
It's a
go.
glorified demo. Have you played it, sir?
Okay,
If it's a demo, I want to play it
What are we
myself.
gonna get first? Black Myth Wukong or the ray tracing patch for Halo Infinite?
Oh boy, I would say Black Myth Wukong. I'm sorry. I would. Okay. I apologize. No shade thrown, but come on now. By virtue, come on now. There's just no way. Black Myth Wukong is coming out in 2023, I suspect, or maybe even 2024.
Listen, if it's a tech demo,
maybe 2025.
If Black Myth is a tech demo, I'd like to play said tech demo.
Yes. That's why I was like, have you played it, sir? Because I want to play that tech demo. But okay, let us move on because I want to talk about Embracer. I want to talk about Embracer because, and shout out to IGN. When this whole thing happened, they basically did a primer on Embracer so that I don't have to go and do all the research and share all this stuff with y'all. Calm down, bro. So, for those of you who are not aware, Everborn Saga.
Listen, before you start, I will be back in 2 minutes. I will be listening in the background.
Okay.
Just give your preamble about Embracer, sure. And I will.
I'll give you the preamble
when I come back.
I'll give you a preamble. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. No worries.
Rebuttal. Pause. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you'll give your butt. Pause. Go ahead. So, okay. Right. So people are aware. I have been speaking on Embracer Group for quite some time now because it looks like they are very ambitious and they're out there. They're trying to step up their game. And I've seen this happening ever since the THQ retirement, well, not retirement, bankruptcy, I should say. The THQ bankruptcy happened, and they've spent what was it, $4 million buying a bunch of various IPs from at that time THQ. Oh, actually, here you go. There you go. Perfect. So during that bankruptcy, what they did was they bought, Red Faction, they bought like Destroy All Humans, all of that. And ever since that time, there used to be Nordic Games. And ever since that time, they recognized that THQ had a bigger name recognition and basically attached THQ. They bought the rights, attached THQ to the Nordic name, and now became THQ Nordic, right? What most people don't seem to understand is that they are quietly, like, people call them the filler or fodder, but they are quietly the games that people have been playing for many years. And not just games. They are in almost every branch of popular geeky entertainment, right? And if you look on the screen right now, you'll see some of them. Settlers of Catan, the famous board game. Yeah, they own the rights to that. Catan, they own the rights to that. Pandemic Legacy, a game with a very, very, where's this? Suicide Kings, welcome, sir. He stepped away for just a moment. He'll be right back. We're giving we're starting our talk on Embracer Group. So welcome. They're in the board game space. They're Pandemic Legacy. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Pandemic Legacy. It's considered to be every year or so a new board game overshadows the last one, but that game is considered by many to be a huge, like, monstrous game. Like, investment requires multiple people. It's a very expensive game, considered to be like top tier, high class board game. Pandemic Legacy, and they own that. And in the comic space, who do they own? They own Dark Horse Comics. They own Hellboy. They own Umbrella Academy. Yeah, that show that's on Netflix. Yeah, they own the rights to that, right? So after that stuff, they started buying. They've been buying. And I see them buying. And every time they buy not too big, because if they buy too big, there's a chance that they might be, there's a chance that then folks, they end up on the radar. And I don't think they were ready for that. I honestly think that with the purchase with the opportunity purchase of all of Square Enix's Western studios, this is their coming out party. And all the other stuff they were doing was primed in preparation to get them to where they are now. Now, I don't know if Everborn Saga, if you're back just yet, but we'll scroll through and I'll share some of the purchases they've made, because I think a lot of people just hear Embracer and they go, Embracer, but they've bought a lot of stuff. And William, I see you're asking, will this trigger the regulatory trap card? They haven't so far, and they own so many studios. The key is they are not big. They are under the covers. They are under the radar. Even the purchases they make, with the exception of Embracer, with the exception of what do you call it? Crystal Dynamic and all that, which was a huge purchase for them, which frankly, even in that respect, was super, super cheap, right? They don't make those large purchases. They buy the AA studios. They buy the IPs that are being sold at bankruptcy, right? That's what they buy. So it makes people go, oh, what are these people? They're just fodder, right? Look at some of the games that they've basically amassed up until this point. Goat Simulator, right? They won't win any awards with Goat Simulator, but you know how many people played that game? You know, Gearbox. Probably until the whole situation with Crystal Dynamic, Gearbox was probably their biggest, most highest performing studio for them, right? But obviously, with Crystal Dynamics in the picture now all things have changed, right? They can go much further. They can do a lot more, right? A lot of these games that you guys have been seeing, a lot of these games that maybe either are in Game Pass or in other services, Remnant for the Ashes, that's actually a really big game that took a lot of people's attention. I know the shout out to Slow Mo Backslap. I know he's been playing it for some time now. I think he beat it this year. You know, that's from them as well. They have been quietly and systematically purchasing a lot of studios that have IPs and have very good expertise in all manner of console, PC, everywhere. And now with this purchase, with the latest purchases that we're seeing today, while we're talking about them, it looks like they went from before this purchase today. I always thought they were going to make a really, really big purchase, but before this purchase today, I thought they were primed to be purchased by another group, meaning I thought, hey, maybe 2020, maybe 2024, 2025, Microsoft might look at buying them, because at that time, the environment will be so different that having that group aligned with Xbox Game Studios would not be a ridiculous uplift. Today's world, that sounds crazy, but in 2-3 years, it might not be, right? But with this move, and I'm talking about, and what move am I talking about? I'm talking about with the move of them buying literally most, and it's most, not all, most of the rights of Lord of the Rings. You know, they are now solidified. Before they used to, we have some comics here, we have some comics there, and a few of those comic properties were Netflix shows, right? Which was interesting. That's how it was before. But now they bought the rights to the movie house, to the movies of Lord of the Rings, including the games as well, right? So because of that, I no longer think that they are primed to be purchased potentially, or not that they wanted that. I honestly think that in the next couple of years, you will see these guys try to solidify themselves as an actual platform, right? They want to be the Tencent. They want to be the Microsoft. They want to be the PlayStation. I wouldn't be surprised if nothing else, subscription service, the Embracer subscription service. Why? Because if you look at their games right now, and most people will say, well, why would you have Embracer have a subscription service? They have 850 IPs. And if you look at even today, if you look at Xbox Game Pass, if you look at the PlayStation's both not essential, but the higher tiered services, even Luna, you will find every single one of them. You will find an Embracer Group game among them. Many of them, actually, right? You will find that they are populating a lot of these other subscription services at this point. and it's not with quote unquote fodder, right? You'll have your Saints Rows and your older games and this and that. But for everybody that hates Saints Row because, oh, that's old, there's somebody who's never tried it who thought, hey, that's a great game. Or now, of course, they can add what do you call it? I'm looking at Jensen over here. They can add Deus Ex among their ranks.
All right. Okay. This has gone on long a goddamn enough.
Oh no! I'm not done yet. Please.
Oh,
Listen. No. I will let you speak. I will. 100%. I want to hear your rebuttal to this. I am not saying. Let me be clear. I am not saying that Embracer Group now has a seat at the table with this move. I'm not saying that. I am not saying that out of nowhere their games are now like the best games you can buy. I'm not saying that either. What I am saying is everyone has been and continues to clown them, downplay them, look at them and expect not much from them. And little by little, they're eating up a lot of these industry assets. They're eating up a lot of valuable IPs. You're gonna hear and see a lot more from them in the coming years.
I would argue that they're eating up things that have already been eaten up, chewed up, and spitting out. But please.
Okay, continue. Continue. No. So, sure. Give me an example of something like that. Like you consider Tomb Raider eaten up, spit out?
I mean, Square Enix literally ate them up and spit them out.
Yeah, but we don't. But just because Square Enix says something doesn't mean we believe them. Square has proven themselves to be not a very reliable narrator.
Okay, so
you disagree with that?
I agree with the dollars and cents of it all, and
which they lie about a lot.
Hold on, because you're scrolling through games and things like this.
Yeah.
Which one of these games has broken the world apart? What have they actually released?
But see, that's my point. Why is it that you either have to break the world apart or you don't exist?
I'm not talking because so you're saying they're just average.
No, I'm not saying they're just average. They're not
breaking the world apart.
Let me ask you. Let me answer your question. You want one game that is owned by Embracer,
preferably more than one with the way we're talking.
Preferably more. Them. Okay. Oh, I'll give you a franchise that is owned by Embracer.
And tell me if this game came out before or after the studio who made it was purchased.
Okay, sure. They have been owned by Embracer the whole time, right? And they've released these games and they are considered to be like monumental sellers. And most people don't know that Embracer owns them. Gearbox, Borderlands.
Has Embracer owned
yes, sir.
The entire time?
Yes. Well, okay. Maybe not one, but 2 and 3 definitely. Maybe not one. Let me double check that. But definitely 2 and 3.
People talking about.
No, but that's the thing. Most people don't even combine Embracer and Gearbox in the same conversation. But Gearbox is owned by Embracer. That is the fact of the matter. That is the fact of the matter. It is. And it's not like they owned them recently. They bought them years ago. They've owned Gearbox for years.
Your argument is that the makers of Borderlands
you asked for one. You asked for one game.
And I
gave you one game.
More than one, but
I said I gave you a franchise, which gives you 3 games. Actually gives you 4 games.
Really? We're going by a franchise? That's what we're doing? Okay.
I said I gave you a franchise.
So here's the thing.
How much has Borderlands sold? Do you know?
That is irrelevant to this conversation. Borderlands is not something people are talking about right now. And
but
they have not been.
Okay, no. You can't do that.
Talk about Tiny Tina's Wonderland? No. Is that what we're talking about?
Bro, Tiny Tina's Wonderland actually did some numbers. It really did. And it wasn't meant. Look.
Come on, man.
And even to that point, Borderlands 3 did a lot of numbers. It just did it last year, not this year. So what? Because it did it last year, it doesn't matter?
The best thing Borderlands ever did was that Telltale game. Listen,
see,
the point is this.
You know what? And for the record, you and I are in sync on that. The only game of the Borderlands franchise that I think is great is that exact one you're talking about, the Telltale one. But I will not deny that a lot of individuals have a huge love for Borderlands. It sells ridiculously. like ridiculously. That's the reason why they keep re-releasing various, like they release DLC 4 or 5 years after a game because people will still buy it.
Here's the thing.
Mm.
If you follow basketball, and I don't, but I know that this is still true.
So I should not take the next thing you're
No,
about
no,
to
no,
say.
no. When you hear this, you will know that what I'm saying is true and well researched.
Sure.
Listing the Embracer-owned IP and studios, like Embracer buying a studio is like the Knicks signing your favorite basketball player. They're not going to win.
Stop that.
They're not going to do anything.
Oh,
and it
man.
is basically a place to retire these studios.
Okay. So what you're saying is, okay, let's be clear here. What you're saying is Chorus was garbage.
I didn't say it was garbage. It was all right.
You're saying
not spectacular, something you're going to talk about.
Does everything have to be
spectacular? They release games with the quality that Devolver Digital releases them? Quality. I'm not talking about sales. Quality. Does Embracer
say that? Sure. Yeah. See the difference. Yes, but the difference is between Embracer and Devolver. Embracer and Devolver is Devolver plays a specific position, and because of that, every single one of their output is almost like a signature from them. Whereas Embracer has so many IPs and so many different companies doing different things. There are just too many different things from Embracer that it doesn't speak to one company. So like it's almost like Devolver has an ID and Embracer doesn't because there are many different companies. They're a group.
Embracer is basically a retirement home for failing studios.
You see, and you're gonna keep saying that, and and I guess these podcasts are my ploy to get him to get on record slandering Embracer left and right, because I have a lot of evidence of that. So as they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then before long, here's the Embracer console, and then everyone's sitting there looking like you gotta stop.
This is what because they put out Borderlands and Goat Simulator, and now you think they're gonna make a console. That's where we're at with this.
See, but you see, you only, and they put out. Yeah, go ahead. They put out a lot more. They put out a lot more games. Like
things.
Did you see what Little Nightmares did this year? Like last year? It's really big. Like it's not. Hear me clearly. It's not one AAA. Elden Ring, it sold 20-30 million copies.
I think that's a red herring that you're using.
And what I'm trying to tell you is
ignore what the fact that I'm trying to convey to you.
What I'm trying to tell you is, did you play Little Nightmares 1 and 2?
I did not know.
Look it up. Considered by many to be like award-winning stuff. It made a lot of money. It sold very well, and it's considered very, very, like Randall Thor can't stop talking about Little Nightmares 2. Okay, that's another one that came out last year. My point is, they are not ones to. They don't want to be the if we're using movie analogies, they don't want to be like Avengers, but they want to be HBO Max because they know that HBO Max makes a lot more money.
I would lean more toward Peacock, but sure.
Well, but you haven't seen them fail yet, and you see Peacock failing left and right. These guys are still on the climb.
Fail yet?
Yes. What have they done that fails? What was
that game with the rat that had did kung fu and stuff like that?
You mean the game that's being re-released? But did you ever play it?
The game that I bought on day one and played it and was like, "This is terrible."
You played it?
Yeah.
How many hours did you put in that game?
Maybe 3. It was terrible. Not a good game.
I'm surprised you put 3 into it. Okay, because I was talking to Ainsley about it. Shout out to Ainsley Bozen, Season Gaming. He put like 40, 50, 60, hundreds of hours into that game. And based on his synopsis, like it doesn't really show you itself many hours in, but that's
Biomutant. Yes.
Biomutant, yes. They're re-releasing they're gonna release a next gen patch for it. Anybody who bought it gets the next gen patch for free.
Which means I'll get the next gen patch and still not play it.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You didn't play it. You didn't give it the time it deserved. So you can't really speak to it like that. But that's neither here nor there.
Deserve that much time, but sure.
Shadow Warrior 3.
All I'm saying is none of these games have broken the world. That's all I'm saying.
But none of the games need to break the world. What, like every game publisher needs to break the world before
You
they
need
matter?
at least one title that's just like
No, not at all. Because like just like Game Pass,
you're
no
you're
one,
art you're
no one
literally
game. Let me
arguing
explain.
on
Just like
behalf
Game
of
Pass, just
having
like
a
Game
bunch of
Pass,
average games.
but they're
That's
not
the
average.
definition of fodder.
That's my point. They're not average because you haven't played Shadow Warrior 3. But if you go talk to Dealer Gaming right now, he will talk your ear off about how great Shadow Warrior 3 is because it's a great freaking game. Like if you talk to Gaming Forte, he'll tell you how great Shadow and this is just an example. What I'm trying to tell you is this studio, this company, this group has made it their mission to find games
Stuff.
to find games that small pockets of the gaming community, niche markets, love. Every single game on this list has like tried and true, like built-in audiences.
I don't think that's their criteria for buying studios. I think the criteria is the studio needs to be bought.
See,
and
you're being
financial
ridiculous.
Straits. And
you're
so
being
we're going to buy them.
That's not true. Not true, because many of these are some of the studios that were acquired were not in financial straits. Yes, THQ was, but that was different.
Okay, but they have 120 studios.
Yeah.
You're telling me that there's this eye on quality. We're going to get 120 of the best studios in the industry.
And what you also need to understand is, and when you look into it, you'll understand a bit better. Embracer Group really does operate as a group. So it's not like Microsoft, where now they're part of Xbox Game Studios and they all like what do you call it? They answer to Booty, right? It's not one organization. Yes, it is, but it's like based on the research I've done, it's like and I used to work for a company that was similar, a pharmaceutical company that has they're called a group. And there are other companies within their stable, and each of them have CEOs.
This sounds like what they're doing with Microsoft Gaming, how they're going to have different publishing and Xbox Studios.
So the company I used to work for way back in the day was United Healthcare. They're called United Health Group because within United Health Group there are multiple companies, and each of those companies have CEOs. They make their own decisions, they do their own things, but they all meet at the top and they communicate, kind of like Alphabet. Basically the same kind of idea. Yeah, Sundar Pichai owns Google. This person owns that. That company owns that. But at the top, you still have the owners of Alphabet who basically give the mandate to those.
So I thought Sundar Pichai, everybody reported to him.
Is Sundar Google specifically? Sundar's Google, right? Or is he Alphabet?
No. I think he's like. He runs Alphabet. So
okay, yeah.
So
if
Google
Sundar's Alphabet, and then there's Google has a CEO. But the point is, they can be semi-autonomous while still being within the hierarchy.
But this is what I'm saying. Isn't that the Microsoft gaming structure post ABK, where you'll have Matt Booty at the top of Xbox Game Studios and Pete Hines at ZeniMax, and then whoever is going to end up running ABK.
That is the idea, yeah. But these guys have been doing it for far longer. They've been doing it since, for a long time now.
Then I wonder how integrated Blizzard and Activision are. Will they separate them out so that they have, Mike Ibarra is going to kind of do what he wants. Not do what he wants, but like report to Phil and not necessarily to whoever's running the Activision side of things.
So William, to answer your question, I wouldn't say that they don't. I'm pretty sure they do. It's just, it's not all like within one entity as Microsoft does, right? Because it's all within Microsoft. Whereas Embracer Group is literally a group. It's not just called Embracer Group.
Embracer Group is run by the property flippers from HGTV.
There you go.
They just see something low. So that's a lot.
See, I've come to that realization now. I think Everborn is just salty that he does not have Embracer Group capital, and he just looking at it, man. They just bought Lord of the Rings now. Why are these people buying it? Clearly, that's your problem.
No, my problem is that Microsoft
clearly that's your problem.
Crystal Dynamics. It has nothing to do with Lord of the Rings.
Hey, give them to 2025. Give them to 2025.
No,
they'll correct that.
You
mistake.
Buy Devolver Digital.
Oh, now Devolver's there?
No. I'm saying if we're gonna buy,
here's my question, Everborn. Here's my question: Devolver or Sega?
Sega, easy.
Seriously?
But
Oh
here's the
my
thing.
God.
Here's the thing.
Get out of here.
You want to know what
I
I
will
have
mute your mic now, sir.
Hold on a minute.
Just because you said that, you will be muted. I'm putting you on timeout. What
you know what you know what I have nightmares about at this point?
I'm listening.
Like the fanboy in me is like, I hope Sony doesn't get Sega, right? But it wouldn't be the end of the world, because I do think there would be a focus on quality at Sega, which they need if Sony were to get them. So ultimately, I think it would be a good thing. It would just hurt the Sega fanboy in me. But big picture, I'd still be okay with it, right? What if Embracer was to buy Sega?
Yeah. Very true possibility.
This is the big one.
Very, very true possibility, because they're out there. They out there. Now, when they do that, do you become an Embracer Group stan?
No, I will hate them even more.
Why? Because they'll throw money at Sega, which is what Sega needs.
They won't. I need proof that they're throwing money at the studios they are buying, so we'll see.
I mean, you
why don't
they're literally
you want
buying?
To wait until the Tomb Raider game comes out? Let's see what they can do.
Well, I mean, you know what Crystal Dynamics can do. Like, it's one thing if they buy the Tomb Raider IP and then they hand it off to one of their studios, then you say, let's wait and see what they can do. They bought the studio and the IP. Come on now. Crystal D doesn't fall apart when the heads are gone, and the heads are still there. The wallet's just different. It's going to be the same great game.
How's KOTOR going?
KOTOR has been switched to a different developer in-house. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes, absolutely. Because the mistake they made was handing it to a mobile developer in the first place.
But I thought they knew what they were doing. They were all about that quality.
That has nothing to do with Embracer. Aspire made their own thing, and they were screwed, and then Embracer came in and saved them. But Aspire made their own bed. Look into it. Don't do that. Don't put that misinformation out there. Aspire, and it's since the whole thing blew up, it's come out. Embracer, I think they're reassigned it to Saber Interactive or something like that.
The captain must go down with the ship. So if you were owned by
the ship isn't down yet. The ship isn't down yet.
Uh-oh.
I thought here comes Mr. Everborn. Mr. Everborn Saga's. I was about to call him your kryptonite.
Let's go.
Aren't you Everborn, the guy who said that with the Crystal Dynamics situation, hey, it's all about the game. Let's see the end result. We haven't seen the end result yet. Why are you automatically assuming he's going to be bad?
But why are you assuming it's going to be good?
I'm not. I'm saying let's wait.
No, I'm not singing all the praises about Embracer Group and how they're this and they're going to
I am not singing his. I'm not singing their. I'm not singing their praises. I'm just saying. I am saying
Embracer is going to release their own console. That's what
I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised. They are that ambitious.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you know why I wouldn't be surprised? Because that means they either went and got more money from the sources they're getting. They're getting money from Saudi Arabia. That's what helped them buy what they're buying now. Or maybe they had a deal with Tencent and they you don't know. What I'm saying is, mark my words, all those who can hear me, these dudes are ambitious and y'all are clowning them and they don't like it. They're out there.
All right.
They out here.
I want you to mark my words.
Mark it down. That's right.
This will not end well. And we'll leave it at that.
Sure. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying they're trying. Where it will go, who knows? But they're not going to go quietly into the night. That's for sure. That's all I'm saying. Embracers out here. Clown them at your own peril.
All of these studios they bought with them. But anyway, please.
Oh, see, William seems to be on your page. He's saying 2023 called Embracer bought Stadia. Now, if that were to happen, that'd be wild because that means they bought it from Google. That would require a lot of money. Like
at this point, maybe not. But
well, Google.
No, I mean seriously, it's not going to work because it's like Stadia ran off YouTube servers, and you're not buying those, and blah 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 blah. But again, Stadia was only ever a POC so that they could sell their cloud services to publishers. They never actually meant for it to be a service. I stand by it. I said it when it was first announced. I still believe it. And yet again, time has proven me right. like it will about the Activision deal in Microsoft. But please.
Sure.
continue.
I don't agree with you, but we shall see. So, honestly, slander aside for a moment. I know that's difficult for you. Slander aside for a moment. This company owns the likes of Darksiders.
When was the last time that was hot?
Shut your mouth. Darksiders, Red Faction, Destroy All Humans 2, which the remake was so good that they're now making another one. Like the remake, they had a remake done when they bought it.
Patrick Ewing, John Starks.
In 2023. In 2023.
Yeah. What are we doing?
No, but my point is, these guys they have ambition and they're out here. You are telling me, after all this, after hearing that they now the only part of what do you call it? What the hell is the name of the Lord of the Rings franchise that they don't own? They don't own the books, right? Books are still within the rights of not even the Lord of the Rings group, but the estate still owns the book rights, so they're still there, right? What do you call it? Long form television shows that also is still with the original group. So that's how so Amazon was able to circumvent and make a deal with them. But movies, they own them, and even that is not 100% solidified. So let me give you a little bit of background on this one. And I did a slight bit of digging on this to figure this out. So remember how we asked how the hell it is that they got the Lord of the Rings IP at such a discount? How the hell that could be? Okay. It's because the movie rights.
Such a discount. Do you know how much this deal cost?
Let's see. It's expected to cost about $2 billion. At least about $2 billion. It's not really fully out there yet, but they're saying it's about $2 billion. But the reason why, the amount is not fully disclosed.
Okay, so the purchase price was.
But the reason. Let me tell you the reason why. Why do you think Spider-Man is still with Sony? If you recall, there's a stipulation in the deal that says you have to keep making Spider-Man movies, otherwise the rights revert. Right? Remember that?
Yes.
Same idea applies here, but there are competing lawyerly back and forth between the various groups. Warner Brothers owned the rights, but they let it sit for a very long time, right? And it reverted. And then these guys bought them. But Warner is saying, no, we didn't. And then they greenlit a show or a movie real quick to say, see, we have something. And the purchasers, the sellers are saying, look, if we have to take you to court, we will, but we think we can win. They haven't done it yet, but there's a back and forth as to whether they will or will not win against WB. And because of that, whoever buys it will have to deal with that eventually, right? So whoever happens to so the first question that came up to mind when everybody was talking about it was, why didn't some Hollywood studio buy it? Because if they did, then they'd have to fight against WB for the movie rights, because WB is ready to fight. Even though technically they kind of let the rights revert because they waited too long, but they're ready to fight that battle, right? Whereas Embracer can not even worry about that because they love the games. They own top tier board game studios, and they use the Lord of the Rings license already. So now that's just free. You no longer have to pay licensing costs, and obviously you can make games with it. So they may never tap the source of the movie rights. So they may never have to deal with that back and forth with WB. So, all in all, I think this is a very interesting place we find ourselves. Where this company that out of nowhere.
I want to clarify something though.
Yes, sir.
The purchase price ultimately works out to, I think, like $770 million that Embracer paid up front. They've paid about 550, but then there are payments on the back end, so the whole deal itself is under $1 billion. It's 770 million. That $2 billion number is what they're talking about for the Lord of the Rings rights altogether.
Yes. Altogether,
yeah. So they're different things, but when we're talking about Embracer, because that's what we're on, all in all, when they pay everything out.
Oh,
It's gonna be
so let me read this
770
sentence.
million.
Although the purchase was not disclosed, although the purchase price was not exactly disclosed, it appears Embracer has acquired Middle Earth Enterprise and the subsidiary for the significantly less than that.
Yes.
It was expected to be $2 billion, but they bought it for significantly less than that. Why? Because of this WB back and forth. Can they make a movie with it? Can they not make a movie with it? They're gonna have to fight that battle. The Embracer's like, screw that. We'll just make games and we'll make board games and we have the rights to do all that stuff.
Right.
We'll make money. I think
if you scroll down, they're saying it. They said this is a right here financial analyst note. Right here, it's expected to be 8.2 billion Swedish crowns, which is about
788 million.
My math was pretty close. I said
you're pretty good. Yes, and that's why it was sold for such a unusually low number, because there's still questions about whether they can make movies against it or not. And Embracer's like, screw movies. Who's making movies? We're making games and board games.
I hear you.
So, what do you think this will ultimately lead us to? You're saying this would lead to what? Lord of the Rings no longer making good games, no good games coming out. What?
Okay, so
tell me why you think this is a bad place we find ourselves in.
Because I don't think that listen, if they give Lord of the Rings to IDOS, maybe we'll get something good, right?
Hey,
but what is a Lord of the Rings game without the Nemesis engine, which they won't have?
There have been many, many, many great Lord of the Rings games that did not have the Nemesis system. Only
I don't remember any of them.
Yeah, because you didn't play them.
I played them quite a few.
Bro, there are many really good, both RTS and non, that are like Middle Earth.
So that's
there are many of them.
Games?
Bro, what? Because it's not your genre of choice?
No, I'm just saying
that's not your genre of choice, so it doesn't exist.
We have to look forward to from Embracer Group, and Lord of the Rings is RTS games. That's what you're saying to me.
You see, he'll cap for Sonic all day.
No. If that is your version of a good outcome, there have been many
Lord of the Rings game. I agree with you that the Nemesis system from Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, which, believe it or not, was not even officially a Lord of the Rings game. It wasn't even allowed to be called Lord of the Rings.
You like how my Knicks analogy now has the chat just talking about the Knicks in the 90s? I love it. Please,
well, because
do more of this.
It tells you what our audience is, right? They're all old 80s babies up in here. You know what's going on.
Old enough to remember when all these studios that Embracer Group brought were good. But listen, the point is this. That's what I wanted to come to. Thank you, Slow-Mo, for taking the words out of my mouth.
See, but I wasn't going to Monolith. I was thinking another company.
I said NetherRealm in the DM.
I was thinking the same. I was thinking NetherRealm.
So, and this is the thing. There's an undisclosed studio, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
AAA studio. Yep.
And it was included in this price. And we know the sale price was $788 million. Now, my question to all of you, if it was, and this is the thing, it would come with the rights. So if it was Monolith, we know Zaslav is about that cash.
Oh, true.
Right?
Yep.
So if he got a couple of $100 million for this studio that already, but I don't even know, because if WB is going to fight them in court over that, are they going to give away the studio that's going to make that game?
Can you imagine WB selling Mortal Kombat with the rights, NetherRealm with the rights of Mortal Kombat and all of it, including with everything there, for that amount of money? I think that's way less.
I couldn't before, however. After Tomb Raider, and I know Mortal Kombat moves a lot more units than Tomb Raider, but if you can get Tomb Raider and all the IP that came with that, and IDOS Montreal, and Square or IDOS and Square Montreal, whatever their name is, 3 studios with the IP for $300 million. Why do we?
I think that's an outlier. I don't think it's a new standard. I don't think
No,
even the old founder of IDOS Montreal was like, it's a steal. Like he and obviously we had that conversation. He's
but
speculating that they did that to make
Discovery
Sony happy.
needs money. You
True.
understand?
Oh yeah. They're in
Right?
debt. They're stripping my HBO Max and putting
who
freaking
is to
90
say
Day Fiance on there. Like it's
the
pissing me
new
off.
company in charge has properly valued these things, right? It's not a Honey Boo Boo game. And we can talk about Zaslav and how people are like worshiping this guy like he's our new corporate savior because he's canceling the woke stuff. But I want you to understand who this Zaslav guy is, right? He is the Discovery guy. He's the guy that changed the History Channel
and turned it into 90 Day Fiance.
Exactly. And started bringing you ancient aliens because there's no way Egyptians could have made these things. He's the guy that literally brought you Duck Dynasty and Honey Boo Boo. And I'm not exaggerating there, I'm not being funny.
Oh, yeah, he literally
that is the guy, and he's canceling all this scripted stuff, and he wants to move towards these cheap unscripted shows because they're cheap
and now he owns
to make. And that's where he's made his claim to fame. And I'm saying all of this to you. We're not on the reel, but we are.
See, NetherRealm, yes, true. But if you look at it, look it up, Slow.
Well,
where NetherRealm goes, the MKIP follows.
Yes, that Kay Asante is right for the first time this evening.
And we will put him on mute real quick. Excuse us. He has been muted, sirs. I have muted him. I have exerted my power. Ha ha. Okay, now let's back to the show.
The man tried to silence these facts, but the point is that I don't think Zaslav cares about this stuff, right? And I think it will go to whoever is offering money. And so if
all right, Gabe, let me explain why I'm mad. He's asking.
No, hold on. Uh-huh. I would like to let time prove me right.
No. But I want to give him. I want to give him a quick.
So you'll be following.
I want to give him a quick synopsis. Quick. The reason this is literally a battle between my wife and I. Okay, my wife subscribes to Disney to Discovery Plus. Hot garbage trash. I love you, dear. And I subscribe to HBO Max. And for some reason now, all of my prestige content is being removed in favor of another 90 Day Fiance show or whatever the hell they're going to eventually put up there. So am I salty? You're damn right I'm salty. I am very salty because HBO Max deserved better than that. Let us move forward. Yes.
Gabe, the content that you love HBO for, a lot of it is going away, and they're going to revert back to it just being plain HBO that has high quality but low quantity content,
and then the rest will be
reality
Discovery
TV
stuff. Yep,
that's what's going to happen.
And I'm crying already about it.
Discovery bought Warner Brothers for more than the company itself, more than what their market cap was.
Yeah, so they gotta cut bait as much as possible.
This is a part of the reason why they're canceling all these things, and they anyway. The point is,
well, you know what?
We'll see what happens with the gaming studios, but I do think it could have been one of those.
Before we leave this, and we're on some movie, gaming, TV show topics, I want your quick opinion and no spoiler talk. Quick opinion on She-Hulk. Go.
I thought there was a few cringe moments, but every time I don't like something, I show it to the kids, the girls, I show it to the missus, and I try to step outside of myself because you have to understand that not all this stuff is made for you, and that's totally fine. And
they liked it and you didn't?
Hold on. I mean, they loved it, right? They were like, girl didn't. Boss. Okay, right? But for me, I thought the show was fine. I thought it was interesting. I, as an avid Incredible Hulk reader, right? What they have done to the Hulk in the MCU is unforgivable.
Come on,
It
man.
is
You know why, though.
tantamount to a
Stop
crime.
talking as if you don't understand the
No,
logistics.
I don't
of
have to understand. I know what they're.
But you
I know what I'm
do.
seeing and know what they're doing to the character.
They can't give him the rights that he
Okay.
deserves because they're owned by Universal. Like, what are you gonna do? Just cut him out completely?
Listen, you shouldn't have had him in the show if he was going to do him like this. The Hulk gets
Okay,
worse
so what did
and
what
worse,
did he do? What did they do to him
worse
on this show?
and worse every time you see him. Every
Okay.
time. This is
Okay.
a joke. At this
But
point,
it's supposed to be a
doing.
joke. It's a comedy.
But why does the Hulk have to be the butt of the joke?
Oh, that's what it is. You think he's the butt of the joke?
Every joke.
Really?
Okay, let me put it this way.
Okay.
And I can tell I'm talking to a non-Hulk fan, and I'm not talking about the Hulk smash.
No. Let me be clear here. I've read both the Hulk, the Hulk
Did you read Immortal
comics,
Hulk?
and I've read the Immortal Hulk. I've read Planet Hulk. I've read all that, and I've also read She-Hulk.
So you understand that the Hulk is a more complex. Nothing what I'm saying has anything to do with She-Hulk. She's great. She's fine.
No, I get that.
I'm talking about
I get that. Yeah,
Bruce
I
Banner.
think you're bringing the and your feelings on Hulk in the MCU are well documented, sir. I understand that,
but
and I think you're bringing that to this property, to She-Hulk.
So I saw they did rush past how she became the Hulk in the comics.
Yada,
blood transfusion.
Of course,
this was just like stupid.
Just like dropping. Yeah, it was the yada. It's a 30-minute.
Even my kids were like, "What are they? What?" Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
But my point is this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hulk was a primary Avenger, right? Mm-hmm. We're not going to talk about what they did to him with Thanos, right? We're not going to talk about how he was too scared to come back out in Endgame, and when he did, the man couldn't even throw a punch.
This is what I'm talking about.
Everybody could get together. No, you asked
this is
for
what
it,
I'm talking
and
about.
now we've arrived.
This is what I'm talking about. You're bringing your baggage to the show.
Hold on a minute.
None of that has anything to do with She-Hulk.
I want to ask you a question. In the MCU, is Hulk the strongest character?
In the MCU?
Yes.
No, and that's a travesty.
Wait a minute. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Is he at least a decent fighter?
He hasn't been. I'll be honest with that.
So that answer is no. Not anymore. Does he throw punches?
But you understand why, though,
right? So no.
Why would you? So but answer my question. Why would you want to give him such prominent placement when you can't make a movie about it?
Okay, let me just ask one more question, and we can put this to bed. Is Hulk in the MCU the best Hulk anymore?
Yeah.
So what? You know what? Let me calm down.
But you see,
I turn into the Hulk.
See, Everborn Saga has two things. He has Sonic and he has the Hulk. If you say any of those, if you bring up any of those two subjects in conversation, he hulks out and everything else is like, it's all over. Like, come on now. I understand what you're saying. You're not wrong. But the problem here is Universal. Universal screwed Hulk first.
Universal stopped the Hulk from throwing punches.
No, Universal screwed Hulk first by not allowing him to be in place to join the MCU proper. And because Hulk couldn't join the MCU proper, the situation is where we are now. Do I agree that that he hasn't been represented the best? Of course I agree. He hasn't.
No. He's been represented the worst.
Terribly.
There's a difference between not being the best and being the worst. But
see, the Hulk is basically like the X-Men. They weren't allowed to really play with them. Now, obviously, the Hulk was a little bit mushier than the X-Men. They weren't like completely off until they bought Fox. But because of that, we haven't seen X-Men in the MCU, right? At least you've seen some kind of Hulk. Now, I agree with you that the representation that they've given him,
the Hulk from what they're doing with him,
and that's your opinion.
Show with no Hulk in it, and I would have been,
which is weird. Like what? How would there be a She-Hulk show with no Hulk in it?
Nah, listen, they've explained worse. All I'm saying is,
so you're not gonna watch it.
No, I have to watch it. My girls love it. The missus loves it. But
I
they're
think
not
it's-
watching it with the same set of eyes that I'm watching it.
exactly. They're not bringing the
But
baggage
again,
you're bringing to it.
Listen, if Bruce does not show up for the rest of the episodes of the show, I'm on board.
Oh, Bruce
Just-
will.
I'm just saying,
He will. He will. He will.
you don't have to disrespect Bruce.
Come on, King Webb.
Which is
We
what
haven't
they
even
keep
seen it
doing.
yet. You got to stop that. Come on now, huh? What else we have if that's trash? Come on, now. We got nothing if that's trash. I'm looking forward to this. But no, okay. So you wanted them to come out somehow, thread the needle of a She-Hulk without the Hulk.
Listen, man, they at least keep it at the accident. You know what I'm saying? And then he's gone. Like
Gabe, you are
just
always
didn't
allowed to
need
be
any of
honest
this.
around here. He's saying he doesn't want us to be honest. Please tell us what you think, brother. Tell us what you think. We're on the night show. We could be slanderous, whatever you want to say. Put it out there. I agree with you, everyone. Let the record show. I agree with you that what they are showing of the Hulk in the MCU doesn't represent the character correctly. Completely agree. Just like all the other characters have been. Well, okay. I will give you that. Unlike the other characters, the Hulk specifically has gotten really short shrift, but obviously that's because they don't have the
I
relationship.
understand that, but he could throw a punch
He's throwing a punch.
at She-Hulk, not Thanos.
Oh, but you haven't seen.
They
You've only seen
stopped
30 minutes.
The whole movie for Captain Marvel to come down
And throw a punch.
and throw a punch, and the Hulk, who's been in it since day one, couldn't throw a single punch.
What? In Avengers? You mean?
Endgame.
Well, but that was the. I don't know, but I don't know. I hear you on that.
That whole
but,
movie was about build up and pay.
You're just trying to relitigate this whole thing, aren't you? You're just going to always be on the Avengers thing, aren't you? I can tell.
Because I don't want this to be about the She-Hulk hate show.
Yeah, how about that?
That stuff is fine.
What
I'm
about
talking
Hulk
about
versus Hulkbuster? That was a punch. He threw a punch.
That's what we're talking about. Where he loses to the Hulkbuster.
So what? Okay.
So
you know
now,
what? Let's close this. Let's close this up with you telling me your ideal.
You know what?
Tell me your ideal. How do you want to see the Hulk done properly on film or TV? Clearly, what you've seen so far has been terrible. So so it's not necessarily Mark Ruffalo that's the problem.
No, Mark Ruffalo is great.
Okay, so when you see him as Hulk, you don't see the problem.
Hold on,
you don't think that's ugly.
I don't even hate Smart Hulk. Okay. That was a period in the comics, right? Yeah. I would have preferred.
You didn't like that whole thing of so you mean Smug Hulk? Well, that's what they call me. Yeah, but you use it. So
yeah, but this is what I'm saying. It's all comedy. There's no substance to him.
But it's a comedy, bro. It's supposed to be Ally McBeal, but with superheroes.
Again, that's fine. But like, if
they built this as Planet Hulk and then you got this, then I'd be with you.
No,
if they didn't build it that way.
No.
It's called Attorney at Law.
Let me explain.
Okay.
They have been using the Hulk since 2015, not to develop him as a character, but to put over on how strong every other character is. Right? This is nothing to do with the Hulk. This is, hey, everybody, you know the Hulk's strong. Let's introduce you another character to show you how much stronger they are than the Hulk. Oh, we want to introduce Thanos, let you know he's a threat. Let's have him F the Hulk up. Oh, we want to show you that Tony Stark isn't to be messed with. Let's have the Hulkbuster knock Hulk out and bust a tooth out, right? We want to show you that Captain Marvel is so strong that she could give Thanos a run for his money where the Hulk couldn't. Let's do that. We want to show that She-Hulk is so well balanced and much better than him. Let's show how much she's better than the Hulk.
You know what? Where
this is about.
Let me give you a non
from Thanos to Tony.
Let me give you a non-malicious reading of that. Okay. I hear you. What you're saying.
The Hulk is a jobber. If you pay attention to wrestling.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
I didn't even see that Slow-Mo said that.
Nicely done. I didn't
even see that.
Let me give you the non-malicious reading of the situation. Okay, and you could be right.
No,
you know,
I am
I
right.
have no
It's not a
I have
could
no
be.
reason to
I am
argue
right.
your point, because yes, you're absolutely. I do see that. Yes, but think about it. Going into the MCU as you know it today, the MCU Avengers that you know today, right now, as you said about your watching She-Hulk with your girls, right? You have to take yourself out of where you are.
But my
You
problem is
can't.
not with She-Hulk.
No, I get that. I'm not talking about that. Follow me. Follow me. I'm not talking about that. What I mean is, because the average Joe, when you compare, like when you put the original Avengers slate together and you line them up, the average Joe probably only knows the Hulk, because the Hulk has been part of popular culture for a long time, even though so have all these others, right? They have been very, very steeped in comic books and this and that, the genre stuff. The Hulk was a standard, normal 80s TV show that normal moms and dads could see. So I
Tier
think now,
one
let me
character.
hear me. I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think the reason why you're seeing what you're seeing is because they feel like the Hulk is a known commodity that everyone is very familiar with, and we all know the Hulk is the strongest because you've seen him. He's been doing the show for the 80s, and he's been around forever. Everyone knows the Hulk. You don't need an origin for him. You don't need to tell people how strong he is, because you've seen it over and over and over again. So now they're using him as the barometer that others are measured by. Because you know the Hulk, right?
That is
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think that's the reading.
Do it to any other character.
No, they don't. Because you don't know any of the other characters. How many, like, really? Think of the original Hulk, like the original Avengers. Okay. Iron Man, nobody knew Iron Man. Captain America, okay. Now. Yeah, that's now.
And Pixelbit G points out, so I think this was Pixelbit G that said this. Yeah. They had Captain America give Thanos a better fight than the Hulk. Think about that.
True, because Captain America used Mjolnir. That's true. That is
even
true.
Before that. And this is ultimately the problem, where they're it's one thing to not, because they don't have to put the character in movies, right? If you don't want people to talk about him, they're actively turning him into Shrek. Every movie he gets closer and closer to Shrek.
So clearly, you guys are all against me on this, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I will close this out with literally this point by Slow-Mo, and I think I agree with them on this one. They diffused him with a lullaby. And even in the show, they asked him, how does that work? I don't know.
I don't have specifics.
Absolutely. On that point, I will give you. On that, I'll give you. Because as soon as I heard that, I'm like, y'all don't even try.
And
you don't even try.
And by the way, all the people who don't pay attention to any of these things, right? They're gonna say the Hulk is more complex than just Hulk smash. Nobody's asking for dumb Hulk and Hulk smash. There's a million ways to play the Jekyll and Hyde stuff, and how the Hulk at night, that's his time. He gives the dark justice that maybe Bruce will try to avoid. And talk, like the Immortal Hulk starts out with Bruce getting shot in the head because he tried to save a little girl in a convenience store robbery where she was literally killed. And then he went back and found the Hulk. And in the nighttime, after Bruce woke up in the morgue, went in the nighttime to go get dude back for that.
But here's my question. The MCU that you now know, many movies in now, they're no longer a new thing. The formula is well worn now. Do you think that will ever be something that's translated? Do you think that you'll get the immortal Hulk, you'll get it like that?
Here's the thing. You don't have to get it like that. I don't need. I'm one of those people, and I keep saying this. And we should move on after this because this is crazy.
We will. Yeah, this is it. This is it.
I'm not a fan of one-to-one adaptations. I'm fine. You can loosely adapt something. That's
bring something new to the table. Yeah.
We don't need that. What I am saying is the Hulk, even the Hulk that they established, is a joke. just within the context of the MCU.
Maybe this was Feige trying to dirty up the Hulk because it's not his property. He can't play with it.
Come on, man.
Hey, they do say he's vindictive, right? We did hear Civil War came out because of Justice League, right? Like, he's like that.
The entire MCU is building on characters and then having a payoff with a moment understanding that character, right? Or moments where you understand, because they understand the character, they build the character up. The Hulk is the only one who has never gotten that moment to shine since you can't even really say Ragnarok.
Yeah, no, you're right on that, because even his complex character arc was off screen. He went from being angry at Bruce to being one with Bruce off screen, and we didn't know how we got there. And then, of course, they said that, and then the internet lost its mind for many months. So they just kind of put a line in Attorney at Law to go, yeah, this is the place where me and Smart Hulk kind of got together. They just kind of yada.
I agree with Gabe in the chat. They should just keep him as Mark Ruffalo Bruce.
Just keep him as Bruce Banner.
Yeah, save the CGI budget. Yet you don't want to do anything with the Hulk, and Mark Ruffalo is a great actor. The Hulk. That's it.
People like seeing the Hulk. They don't feel the way you feel about it.
No,
people like seeing the Hulk.
No. No one likes what they're doing with the Hulk. Nobody.
You're being hyperbolic. Obviously, not nobody. Because if it wasn't nobody, you wouldn't see him coming up over and over and over again.
The Hulk in a movie got a standing ovation for any scene that he was in.
Seriously, that's your barometer? Like, I have to tell you a standing ovation, and that's how you'll know. Oh, okay, that's
fine. Got him. Every one of them.
Really?
The MCU's built on these. You know what? Let's go. What's the next topic? Because
no. We're done with the topics. I decided, like, we were at the end of the gaming show. I was like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of Everborn Saga not bringing On the Real. We'll tie On the Real to the end of the show. Why the hell not? So
all right, here's another On the Real topic. I have some homework for everyone. Go watch Tekken on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I hear it's great.
My God,
it's amazing.
It is fantastic. I'm 3 episodes in out of 6. I'm gonna watch the other 3 after we get out of here. 23 minutes per episode.
Okay. Clean. Oh, so it's short. Great.
Yeah. 6 episodes, 23 minutes or 24 minutes each, whatever. Watch it. You will not be disappointed. They do the IP justice. I love it so far.
Hey, maybe they'll do a what if episode on Disney Plus where they make the Hulk. Jesus. I don't know. Take your poison. They turn the Hulk into Groot or something. I don't know. And all he does is say, "I am Hulk" the whole time. That'd be fantastic. Just to piss Everborn Saga off even more. Anyway, it has been an awesome episode chatting with you, good sir. You know, this whole Embracer Group thing, mark my words, they out here. Keep your eyes on them. Keep your eyes on them. Well, hey, you can say that, and I will agree to disagree with you. I'm not saying they're going to be wonderful and great, but they're out here. They're trying to make moves. Either they'll flame or they'll succeed, but it'll be hot and it'll be very, very, very visible. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, and the Hulk is not a threat. You don't even have to worry about it. He can babysit your kids.
He can babysit your kids. Yeah, yes. The Hulk is like Wu-Tang. It's for the kids. Yeah. Tell the fine people where they can find you. When will you start broadcasting some of these little, some of the iterations that you're doing?
Soon. I wanted to get, like, when I get the spine assets in, I want to, like, just record myself integrating those or trying to integrate them and then moving on. And then I'm going to, like, pick a feature that I'm going to try to add, but I'm not going to have a plan for that feature when I go in. And so you're going to see me go through the whole process of talking these things out with myself and seeing what to do. And hopefully the chat will be in there and we'll get some developers in the chat that can suggest some things. Man.
That's awesome. That's absolutely great. But of course, Everborn Saga everywhere. You can find this man. Go read the books. You can
find me crying about the Hulk.
Yeah, you can find him. You can find him crying about the Hulk. See, I knew what I was getting myself into when I brought the Hulk up, because if you want to know, go to the Everborn Saga channel and look up On the Real way back when, before it was brought back. because there is an episode of On the Reel where they discuss the Avengers. They discuss the last Avengers movie, and boy howdy, did it turn into a Hulk thing. I watched that whole thing, laughed my ass off.
The disrespect.
So I knew talking to him about the Hulk here is almost as bad as talking to him about Sonic. So
it added a half hour to the show
just to piss him off. I knew.
Well, listen. We will have another one of these if Sonic Frontiers isn't good.
Yeah. Oh, but the question we must ask yourself is: will you be able to recognize if Sonic Frontiers?
How many times have I told you Sonic games have been terrible? I have no problem recognizing any of that.
So yeah, Suicide Kings. Indeed, I did. I knew what I was getting myself into with this one.
Terrible.
Anyway, so yes, TKO Asante, Xbox, PlayStation, all over the internet, wherever you want to find me, you can find me. We can have conversations. Beast Mode, I see you. I know you were late. You can catch it from the top. We had a lot of conversations. We've done the Embracer. We even did a little bit of MCU talk at the end. I'm sure you'll appreciate it. Good to see you, good sir. We didn't get to do this during the day. Usually we do this on Saturday mornings. Guys, here's a question. Put it in the comment section. I'll read them. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a better show to do this at night?
Devolver Digital is better than Embracer.
Do you think the show works better at night than during the day? Give us your opinion. We usually do this at 10 o'clock in the morning, so that we can go about our day and do what we do. But it seems that people seem to be liking, the night format, a little less buttoned up, little less PG-13. We'll see. Let us know what you think about it. Of course, we read all your comments. I reply to everything I can. I appreciate everybody that watches this stuff, people that watch it after the fact. I really appreciate it. We're getting a lot more listeners. Like, I don't know how the hell they find it. I don't know if y'all are just listening to it after once you're finished watching it, but way more people listen to this podcast than I thought was possible, because I don't know how to market it for audio listenership. But somehow I guess I don't need to market it because people are still appreciating it. So thank you so much. I guess I would say, if you are an audio listener and you're either in this chat now or you're listening to it later, go ahead and leave a review. If you are one of those audio, I see a lot of numbers, but I haven't heard anybody. I've seen a few reviews here and there, some score reviews, but I want to, let us know what you think. Give us some criticism. Give us your thoughts on it. I would love to hear and start a conversation with some of the folks that watch.
If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We want to get to 1,000 by the end of the year.
Indeed. We're getting there. We're on our way. We'll get to 1,000 by the end of the year with your help. And when you're subscribing, when you go to Everborn Saga's channel, make sure you subscribe there as well. So that when we start doing this stuff, you'll start seeing them.
I need you to go to everbornsaga.com real quick. And there's something I would like to show for the people that I made for the community.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, yeah. Why did we bury the lead? Son of a bitch. See, I get to say that because it's a nighttime podcast. It's a beautiful thing. All right. So here we are. And this is where we're going to go. Everbornsaga.com. We'll end it with this. Now, you can buy the books. You can buy. Here's the Redlands, right? Hit that like button. I see you there live. Thank you so much.
Redlands is what we're basing the game off of. By the way.
That's right. So buy the book right now. Read up on it. Maybe you'll get some insight on game characters and move sets and whatnot. There's a lot to be enjoyed here, right? You can see some of the testimonials. You can see some of the older games, right?
No, we went right there. You passed it. We want to go to apparel at the bottom.
Oh,
so right below this, right there.
Where? I don't
see the first one, apparel.
Oh, the apparel. Okay. And in addition to Everborn Saga, and all the wonderful Everborn Saga merch you can buy, and I own this one. I actually wore this one 3 days ago. So let's see. You can find the jackets, you can find the t-shirts, you can find the face masks, and then of course, for those who want something special.
Oh, it's not here. Okay, you gotta go to catalog at the top. My bad.
Okay. For those who want something special,
right there it is.
We have the Charge the More t-shirt. Because now,
normally this would cost you $69.99.
But it's on
today
sale
for the low price, because we don't want to charge you more. We want to charge them more. You can get it for $29.99.
Oh my god! You need to make this like you need to make this V-neck. I was gonna buy one, bro. Give me a V-neck. Hit me
All
good
I'm
with
saying,
it.
everybody's talking about support the devs. I'm a dev. They're happy to pay $70 for these things. I say we get together.
You know what I think you should do? I think you should make the mag model this. Charge them more shirt. You should put
absolutely. I think I'm gonna send him one complimentary.
I think you should definitely do that. By the way, if y'all haven't seen the mag's latest video, man, you need to check it out. It's hilarious. Absolutely.
Listen, put the link to this shirt in the chat.
All right, we will put the link to the shirt in the chat. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The link is in the chat. If you buy it, post it on that. We will promote you. We will signal boost you because everyone needs to see you in your great drip right now.
Charge them more.
All right. So on that note, for myself and Mr. Everborn Saga, we appreciate you guys for always continuing to support us in the Gaming Circle podcast. And of course, as you know, every week we come at you with have some gaming news, some tech, and some slander. Next week, we'll come back at you with some really good stuff as well. Maybe we'll have a guest. Maybe it'll just be myself and Everborn. But until next week.
And maybe we
hope you enjoy yourself. And maybe, and maybe he'll be on time. Have a good weekend, folks. See you next week.